This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Well, it does appear that most everything I've asked the computer to do as of yet is working. So except Alec, for some reason, has no mic. What? No, that's really weird. No. Go, wait, try.
Is there not enough switch on this?
I have it labeled wrong. I have you labeled as Marnie. My bad.
Good use of labels.
Yeah. I'll have to fix that.
That was effective.
Yeah.
So that is that technically a technical?
Oh yeah, that's more than qualified.
Clearly, yes.
I mean, you made the lamb stop screaming, so I guess there's that.
Gotcha. Well, hi, everybody.
time.
It's a Tuesday night. It is the 6th of September, 2016. I am in studio. Oh, by the way, show 274. And I just keep saying that because at some point it's going to mean something to somebody. Marnie has called out tonight. She's got a case of the my plate is too full-itis. So she is out.
Too many tacos.
Maybe it was Taco Tuesday. Maybe from last week. She
Filled me up.
good time. Yeah. How did your taco thing work out?
It worked out just fine. The whole post was a dig at Sharon, who was still at work,
Oh.
and I kept repeatedly telling her, leave work because I'm hungry.
I need you to stop somewhere and get
Right.
tacos.
I clearly don't have car keys and the ability to
Right.
go find my own
You're not a
food.
fully functioning
Well,
young
we
man.
don't know.
Clearly
There
not.
could be a part of your day where maybe you shouldn't be driving a car in search of tacos.
That's a good point. You do seem to go do those what do you call it, boozy mom meetings?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
All right. Well, anyway, it's just Kat Carlson and Al Perkins and myself so far. There is a chance that Bootsy Lamone will stop by a little bit later. He's at dinner with his mom
For his birthday.
On his birthday,
Happy
which is
birthday.
today.
If he
So-
does stop by, it's officially a birthday tour.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, Stop 2 does make that official.
That's true.
Well, we probably won't get him to do a stop 3 because he has to be up so god awful early in the morning, but it's all right.
That's fine. It still qualifies as a tour.
Oh, yes, but you're here, everybody. Joe is in the chat room, Meow Cal, and Drew is in there. Hello. Drew, I already appreciate the fact that you've used a phrase from last week about being grand staircased. That was from Jason Carlton last week. That was so funny. And by the way, if you're hearing this, the show was recorded last week, but it's posted on Facebook, or excuse me, on YouTube without video. It's an audio only because in the rush of trying to record the damn thing, it only recorded the audio portion. Doesn't matter. Seeing us, we're pretty much the same all the time.
And because
That's fine.
I listened to it, I never watch it. I just listened to it. I didn't realize there was no picture towards the end. I glanced over. I'm like, oh.
There's that. Whatever.
Very observant.
It's all right.
Good work.
Oh, my heavens. Well, Kat has brought snacks. We have grapes, and what are these little things? Lunchable somethings?
Well, they were on a very pretty display as I was standing for about an hour in line at the grocery store today.
Okay.
And I'm kind of not exaggerating.
Well, you were making it sound as though the people in North Scottsdale think the apocalypse is coming.
They appear to have had some sort of apocalypse tip-off because I've never, not on Thanksgiving, not on, right before any other holiday. The only other time that I've ever seen a grocery store mobbed that way is when I lived on the East Coast and they would talk blizzard.
Right.
And then clearly everyone would suddenly need eggs, milk, bread, and toilet paper to get them through.
Sure.
They
whatever.
needed them. They were just able to blow them off of the I'll get it tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow.
But if it's
tomorrow never
just
comes.
snow 3
Kleenex for
feet.
tonight, honey. And mommy's going to go to the store tomorrow and get real toilet paper.
Right. So apparently someone said hurricane on the news.
Yes.
And I think the fine folks of North Scottsdale thought that an actual hurricane, instead of just some rain left over from a hurricane, I think they thought an actual hurricane.
Because that
was
thing
gonna
is
come
spinning
by.
up the
It
Sea
is.
of Cortez or whatever we call
Yeah.
it. Okay. I was
Whatever
all
we call it.
nervous because I just saw a glance. I tried to avoid the news all weekend to get Trump out of my
Good
brain.
thinking.
Because I felt my blood pressure was rising to very unhealthy levels
Oh.
That's not okay.
after his breakdown on, was that Wednesday night or Thursday night that it all went wrong?
Oh, the here in town
he was
when he was here?
Yeah, just
Oy.
Don't like
pure
that.
fucking evil.
Yeah.
And I really did. So I turned off the news, but I just happened to catch, I didn't have it on in Patient's Room or anything. We stayed on all kinds of channels that weren't news on purpose.
A lot of Disney.
But I did see some red thing spinning towards the southern Arizona border, and I was like, I wonder, because it was just 2 short years ago that we were hit by the storm on a Sunday. Yeah, that was been a Sunday night that we were at Denny's and you were screaming at the people because the hurricane hit for the Uber driver in the Prius to
I
take his
just
electric
wanted
car.
her to drive through the water. Just
Was that
go.
2 years already?
Seems like.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was the night Joan Rivers died because we all sat in the Denny's doing, and there was no one in there because everybody else had gone home and
'Cause
evacuated.
Because they
People
were
with-
smart.
right. People
So
with
it was
sense
the cook,
had
the
headed for
waitress,
higher
and the
ground.
two of us, and Barbara Seville. Telling each other Joan Rivers jokes all night. Somebody else, there was somebody else with us. There was a fourth person.
I don't recall who
Some
it was.
rando.
No idea.
God, I hope it wasn't a friend.
Well, they aren't now. I don't recall. I do. It was a tiny car that picked us up, and it should not. That car should not even have been out. Like the rain had filled all the gutters everywhere, right?
I remember.
And she'd pulled up in front of the Denny's right there, like the water and the bottom of the car door were parallel.
But the water in many car doors were about parallel
Right.
because it was a river.
Yeah, but I'm just like, just drive, just go. I was, in my defense, I had been overserved previously that evening.
And he wasn't hungry or needed a drink because they made us everything at Denny's. They kept bringing us out plates of food. It was actually kind of funny.
Right on.
Well, they had to have their
Because
sales
your
numbers up.
birthday was coming. We were kind of celebrating your birthday at the time.
And Joan died. So there was so much to celebrate. It was a Sunday. Al was out with us.
It was raining.
All these things. Oh yeah, the rain was a big one. But nothing will ever top the rain. Though it wasn't. It was probably in monsoon season. I don't remember the exact date. Nothing will ever top though the night that Al and I rode home from. I want to say karaoke or drag race, something from Apollo's,
I think it was Drag Bingo.
maybe drag bingo, and we rode. It just started pouring. We got
Like it was a microburst, like right on us.
right. So we got like 150 yards from the bar. We're fine. We're gonna make it home, and then it just downpoured, and we laughed so hard and rode down Missouri all the way over to 7th Avenue, and just held it.
And we had to hide under the awning at French Grocery because we could you couldn't see anymore.
Right.
It had come in, and then everybody next day was like, "It didn't rain last night." And I'm like,
Bullshit.
"Fuck you! It didn't rain." I don't know what the fuck I was driving in then. So I just saw that thing and just realized, like, oh, we usually have a storm around now. It's usually time
Sure.
for
good.
something to hit us.
Well, that's all right. We can get.
So
a
I didn't know
little
if it had been upgraded because that one that hit us 2 years ago hit us still churning. Like I think it hit us at like a tropical storm,
Yeah.
like the lowest hurricane, highest tropical storm. That's why that went so batshit crazy. The once in 100 years rain.
I don't even know. I haven't
Then
been
it happened
tracking.
again this summer. They did the. Okay, so you got to change that name from once every 100
From
years since
once
it's the second time in
to like
2
every
years.
other year.
But there's nothing. Climate change isn't happening. Nothing to look at. Nothing here.
no.
It's a Newton. Apparently, that's what it is. It's a Hurricane Newton. Is that what they're calling it?
You're reading it.
Sure.
Well, no. Well, I'm just asking.
I don't have my handy list of this year's hurricanes in the.
Oh no.
I
it-
used to have
I'm
that.
on there. I'm on the weather.com site, and they have a big map that shows us getting a big red splotch. Hurricane Newton makes second landfall in northwest Mexico. Will bring moisture surge to southwest U.S.
Sounds amazing.
Surge is a great person.
We're just gonna flood our basement. Usually, only looking at men from Tonga does that, but
Well,
in this case,
hey, he's from the south somewhere. That's all right. We'll figure. Ooh.
I feel like they're different.
Mama say, Mama saw. Yeah, they're a little different. Yes, they are. Mama Di, she's in there. Hello, in the old chat room. Mom's a little bit of an empty nester this week because
oh yeah,
on Sunday we took her sister had been visiting for a week, and on Sunday we took her to the airport. And normally, when we take her, we just we do the tuck and roll at the drop off point, make her get out.
Slow down 5 miles an hour, open the door and kick.
No, yeah, but that's normal. That's
Right.
yeah. No, this year, we just parked the car, walk in, check the bag, do the whole thing, walked her clear to close to the security gate we could without getting arrested, and then said all our goodbyes. So Mom's an empty nester this week with getting back to just her and the cat and her own little routine.
Aw.
So yeah, but they had a very good visit, and hopefully it won't be that long before Susie comes back out and sees us again. Ah, heaven's sakes. Well, in light of, we're not waiting for her, so we might as well continue on.
this is the part where we usually wait for her.
But Marty's usually here about now, and we just say, oh, hi. No, anywho, so
That usually
Kat
takes a little
Carlson,
time.
you had a busy week. You keep posting a lot from your place of business.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work. I think I worked 12 out of 14 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was kind of a
Somebody
lot.
on vacay?
A couple of somebody's.
Or on permanent vacay, if you know what I
Well,
mean.
Couldn't get
Your
so
services will not be needed any longer here.
Couldn't get so lucky.
Oh, but
No, you know what goes around comes around. So eventually, I'm going to want some time off. So I
good
tend
point.
to pick up shifts. You know, when
Grease
people-
those little gears. If you-
Right.
yeah.
And I'm poor, so that helps.
Oh,
More work is more money.
I didn't really actually think of the financial aspect of that coming to fruition.
Yeah,
but okay.
that helps too.
Gotcha. All right.
So I just kind of made a conscious too much on my plate decision last week because last Tuesday was my only opportunity to be home at all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With all of the people and I had picked up so much work and so I said, well, they're gonna miss me, and I'm so sorry about how much you missed me. But no, I stayed home and ate tacos.
We ate them here.
Yeah.
That's good.
It all worked out. Well, strangely, it all works out.
You know, as you were telling that story, I was realizing that if
Excuse me.
oh my God, let it out,
Bless
let it out. If Katie June would have kept with your rationale of about how maybe occasionally taking a night off of something and staying home,
Sure.
she could still be on this show.
You might still be on the show.
Yeah. From her bed rest, a couple months in that bed rest chair.
Oh no, but I mean, she stopped long before that
Oh
because
no, I know.
she had so many irons
So
in the
many
fire.
things, yeah.
Yes.
Well, and it's easy to do because you say, oh, well, sure, I can do that. That's only 2 hours a week, or that's only
Yeah.
Right.
4 hours a week.
But her world got to be there were too many hours a week, and then it wanted being on all days.
Yeah.
But she still does. I'm pretty sure. Even though she's had the children, and you know they're making the new routines all work for them.
Sure.
You know she's gonna overload her ass again.
That's what you do.
Yeah, because now she's gonna try and juggle it with three toddlers. Or,
She already called me last week, and I'm booked into an event with her on the 1st of October
Oh, good for you. What are you
at
doing?
Rawhide. Just doing
very
a little thing. It's an early thing. We're going out. We're doing some red carpet. We're announcing red carpet entries or something in some event, and that's all we're doing.
That sounds
We don't have
lovely.
to be part of the event. We go and we're out.
Sounds
Here's
wonderful.
give me my check, and we move on. Oh, whoa, who's
Excuse
that?
me, I'm so sorry.
Oh, do you want to take the call in the air?
I don't.
funny story. No.
No, you know, I'm plagued by the like the scam phone calls. So they look like a legitimate American number, but they're all from India, and they're either. I think I finally pissed off the online pharmacy people, and so now I've got the we need to fix your PC people.
Oh, they're like making a big surge again. I'm seeing and hearing a lot of that.
They're super aggressive, and occasionally I do have a little time on my hands, and so once in a while when they call,
Oh, you'll string them along?
I sure the fuck will. And the last time that I
Atta
strung one
girl.
along, here's what happened. So they go through and they say, oh, well, we noticed there's a problem with your computer. We want to help you fix it. Mm-hmm. And I was killing time before work, actually. I had pulled up in front of work and I was too early. And I was like, well, I don't want to go in. Oh, I'm going to answer this call. He says, I noticed you're having trouble with your computer. And I said, oh, my God. Thank you so much for calling me. I've been trying to figure out how to fix this. What do I do? What do I do?
And what credit card do you want?
Yeah.
You know what? We never even got there. He says to me, well, you have to be in front of your computer. I said, okay, hold on a second.
Right.
Okay, I'm in front of
Well,
my
walking
computer.
through that van takes a long time. There's a lot of room in there.
I said, okay, I'm here. Now what? He says, well, it has to be turned on. I said, oh, well, that's a good idea. Let me turn it on a second.
That's a good advice. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And so then he says, well, what I need you to do, and I can't remember the key combination that he wanted,
Right.
but it eventually opens a command prompt.
Uh-huh.
And so he says, well, press this and this. I said, okay, I did. Now what? He says, well, what do you see on the screen? I said, absolutely nothing. Nothing has happened.
Oh,
He says, well, you need to press it again.
partial lie, partial truth.
Yeah. See.
I'm considering politics.
That mine inspector really is starting to look up.
So he says, do it again. I said, okay, I press it again. He says, well, what do you see on your screen? I said, nothing. Nothing has happened. I'm pushing the keys. Help me fix my computer. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get my computer fixed.
Oh, now the pressure's on him.
Right.
Oh!
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
So then very quickly it becomes clear that he's out of script and doesn't know what to do.
Sure.
He has no idea what to do. He says, well, you're not pushing the keys. I said, the fuck I'm not.
Duh. Fuck.
Yeah, then I got angry at him. Don't you call me a liar. I'm not
Right.
a liar. I pushed
I'm
the
here.
keys. Nothing happened. You're here. You're supposed to help me. What do I do? How do I fix my computer? He says, no, you're not in front of your computer. You're lying to me. We go back and forth like this for a minute. And the end of his script, you know what it was? he got real quiet for a second, and then he like must have leaned into his phone, because I'm sure his supervisor would be real thrilled to hear him say this, because he leaned in real close and he said, "Well, you can suck my dick."
Oh! Oh, no kidding.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you bait them enough, they'll just get abusive with you. If
Or
you're into that.
offer inappropriate sex on
Right.
the phone.
Challenge accepted.
Wow.
And so I said to him, I said, "Well, is that going to fix my computer?"
Well played.
Well, apparently it's not a hard drive, it's a floppy drive problem, sir. Ah.
But yeah, so that's likely what this call was, because it left a.
Now I was going to share with
And
you.
most of them are recorded for your safety.
No,
Oh, they
I keep
should.
I keep getting the live ones out of India.
But you know how they always say they're recording this
Oh,
as they
yeah,
go?
Right.
for quality control purposes.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of which, that's one of the new the things that they were coming up with. Obviously, way out of sequence on this. Cosby's going. They set a date for his trial, which is next June.
I just
guess,
read
right? So one of the things today that they were going, and I didn't hear all of it, but when they were going into court today, one of the things was they were trying to get thrown out was whether or not the recording of him calling the mother, I believe it is, of the victim. They were talking on the phone. She's in Canada. He was in California at the time, but the trial's in Pittsburgh. So they were going back and forth as to where would this fall, a recording, what law is it going to fall under?
I think in California, both parties have to know they're being recorded.
But she was in Canada. That trumps our, or not trumps, I want to use that word, but it's like different than our laws, yada, yada, yada. State of Arizona, I think it is, as long as one of the people in the recording knows it's happening, it's legal. But it changes from all 50 states, whatever. But anyway, they were talking about the fact that the laws are having to be rewritten so fast, because these laws were all written when there was literally only one or two ways to record a phone conversation.
Right.
Now you can do it 100 different
And one
ways.
of them you would hear the
Yeah.
Right,
in
or
the background.
and the other one is depending on where you call, every 30 or 60 seconds there's the beep, like NASA. Remember when you'd hear when you would talk, they'd show
We were always on the phone together.
right.
I didn't really like to talk on the phone with NASA.
Yeah.
They were
No,
kind
but
of dry.
no, but remember when you would hear they would talk to the shuttle and it
Oh,
was
sure.
recorded, and every like 30 to 60 seconds there'd be beep beep. But the recording used to be the same way. Now there's apps on your phone. You can just hit it, talk on your phone. It's all recorded. The other person doesn't know it or whatever. But it would be fun to record them. I'd love to have heard that live. We could have played it right here on the show.
If
but
only I'd have thought ahead.
I have an app on my phone called SyncMe, SYNC.me, and that one has a database built into it that it updates every few days. That known spam numbers,
Oh, okay.
it marks them, and then the phone will ring, but the entire screen turns red, and it says, noted as a spam call. You have the option to answer it, or
Sure.
just send it to voicemail. But it alerts you right away. But they're getting crafty, because all of a sudden numbers are starting to come from, it looks like it's Gila Bend, or it's Casa Grande, or
Yeah,
it's
this
local.
one, I think this one looked like Tucson.
Right. Yeah, they're getting kind of crafty with that shit. But a lot of especially like 800 numbers and 888 numbers are that way. But I love that little app for that, so I just ignore a lot. And then the other one is that stupid online pharmacy, or whoever those people are.
Ugh.
I love the block. I'm assuming you have it on your phone as well, where you just put them in a block list.
I just did, yeah.
I love my block list is enormous, and I can't imagine if I were to ever just refresh that and start over, what would happen to me.
Well, now that I've learned about that block feature, I'm delighted. Thank you very much for letting me. I just delete the call, info, block this call.
Yeah.
But and it is my fault, because I donated several times to a certain ladies campaign this year, and
sure.
have unleashed the hounds, as it were.
I haven't had too bad with regards to that. I don't know why, but I haven't.
The emails are almost
Are
unbearable.
aggressive.
Every 7 minutes.
Yeah. The
I've
emails
got-
are almost
I've
unbearable.
got
but
Cory Booker. I've got the whole Clinton family. I've got Obama emailing me.
I'm apparently going to dinner
I've
with
got Uncle
somebody.
Joe emailing me.
Uncle Joe.
I'm always being
Uncle
invited to
Joe.
fucking dinner.
yeah. Oh, there's always that chance. Well, I think we weren't on the air when they did the Hamilton giveaway.
Oh.
Where if you
Oh
donated
no,
$19.
I saw that one too.
So I donated
I
that
entered
one.
twice.
First you click the button for the first chance, and then your second chance was only $19
I know.
for a chance to see Hamilton in July. So I had
fell for
because
it.
I was convinced I was going to win. So I had everybody on alert
How was
that
the
I
That's my
could be
problem
leaving.
with Powerball. That's why I'm not allowed to watch to play Powerball, because
How
I'm
is the
convinced that I won.
How is the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes working out for you too? How many?
Really well. Every New Year's Day, I just sit by the door and wait for Ed McMahon. Is he still alive?
No,
I don't think
oddly
so.
no. Oddly, no, he is not.
That's gonna put a slight delay.
They have another drunk gray-haired guy running around handing out shit though, so you'll be
But
eventually.
I haven't gone far enough in a conversation to find out that there's pharmacy people after me. I'm unaware of this
Oh,
phenomenon.
I get the Canadian pharmacy, and then there's some online meds or some shit they call.
Yeah, the online pharmacy people are terrible.
Oh, and the other one I'm getting, and I'm sure this is stimulating to everybody who else who's listening to this. The other one is, I don't recognize the number. I let it go to voicemail, and it's this. Hi, it's Tim again, calling to make sure you got that email I sent you about that $250,000 line of credit for your business. Just waiting to hear back from you. I've got all the paperwork ready to go for you, so just give me a call back, whatever number.
He sounds nice.
But it's just the most polished, wonderful little voicemail. We already had that conversation the other day on the phone, but no, we never did, Tim.
No,
Don't know who you are.
Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, and I always wondered, like, just make a list of things when you call of all the things you smoked before we had this conversation or drank. Because you clearly think I'm having some kind of memory problem.
Yeah, because they outline everything
Oh,
for me.
remember that? No.
No.
Funny, I don't.
Where were we, Tim? Can you tell me that?
Unfortunately, it's old people that they get.
No, you're
Like
unfortunately
that's
you're correct.
that's the
correct.
target audience right there, because your grandmother can barely turn on her phone. She thinks her computer's broken. Well, sure.
Yeah, and then
she's gonna. Well,
the
thank you
computer
so much.
scam thing, they got a friend of mine's mother, and she was telling us a story the other day at work, and just how far it got, and the damage that it did to her computer, and like she knew from the start of the call that something was wrong, but there was a little something off
Just
on her
a little
computer,
bit of truth, right?
And she thought she clicked a help button, so it like everything kind of triggered.
Yeah. Well, I did some research on the computer one after I had such a lovely conversation.
Yeah, after being offered a dick
And
sucking.
some of the stories from that one, they're just spiteful about it. Like some of them don't even go all the way to getting the money. They just go to getting remote access, and then they just start deleting shit.
Yeah, and
Like
that's-
they just start. Let's wipe out all your pictures.
That and the other one is to gain, obviously in your emails would have different account numbers, potentially date of births, all that kind of happy horse shit. I watched 60 Minutes last Sunday. Was another one of those wonderful things where they put people in a room, hackers, and they had the reporter, and the reporter, all they have with the reporter is either one of them just had a phone number and then something else, and like it was insane. They sent her a text that literally was a text with no link in it. Just because she opened the text on the screen, her phone was snagged, and like literally around the table, they're all sitting there. Well, I have your email, I have this, I have this, I have that. It was insane.
Nope.
Yeah, it makes you just feel so warm and fuzzy
Yes,
inside.
it does.
And like Joe was saying, he doesn't pick up on any number I don't recognize. The only time I really do is if I think it looks like it might be the security company calling.
Yeah.
That's the only time I pick up because I do not want to pay that $75 for a false alarm.
Nobody wants that.
So that's the only time I pick up. And most of the time I'm like, go to mail. It's probably not a good time for me to talk right now. I'll call you when it is.
Right. Yeah, I go through spurts. Like sometimes you're just expecting a call and you kind of roll your eyes every time the phone rings and go,
What
"Oh,
does suck for me
hopefully
is the
this
fact
the
that
one."
I get so many phone calls from people who I don't have in my phone because a new bartender will start working somewhere and my name is, if there's a computer problem, call Clayton. So I
So
often
they immediately panic.
Oh no, they do. So I often get phone calls from all over the place, and they're not all from here because whatever his name is just moved here from Poughkeepsie, and he's got a cell phone. It's got a Poughkeepsie number, and I'm like, I don't know anybody from Poughkeepsie. So I let it go to voicemail, and then I realize, okay, they left a voicemail. Then I listen. Oh, this is Johnny. I now work at whatever restaurant, and I can't make the computer print or whatever, and I call him back.
Well,
Definitely not-
Poughkeepsie's got a real yokel feel to it.
Well,
I also
they
question
moved-
the judgment of that bar and their hiring practices.
They wanted a hometown feel.
Came from Central Casting. He was looking for a different job.
He wanted to play Ernest T. Bass and Andy Griffith, but he's going to be a server at the restaurant.
Good for him.
Yes.
Bless his heart.
I don't know
So
how-
so besides eat tacos, which is not a metaphor, did you do anything else on here?
I ate tacos. I worked. I laid on my couch at every opportunity. I feel very much like the Tin Man just now. And,
Heart dead?
Yeah, heart's dead. Creaky joints. All the work is physically caught up with me, so I've done nothing. I've watched several movies.
Good for you.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. Nothing is. I don't think I left my house for a purpose other than work in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Eh.
I'd done doing the days and nights, and then this week nights, and an opportunity came up to just be on call. I was hoping for the whole night up, but it was just be on call on Thursday night, and I was like, oh yeah, sign me up.
Right on.
So just kind of laid around and relaxed. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, fuck it. Took a Benadryl. I'm like, that's it. I'm not staying up all the way till 7. Because if they call you in at 5, I mean, really, why?
Right.
You have an hour to get there, and then you're going to be there for an hour. Somebody can figure that shit out.
Right, and everybody's already asleep.
So I took my Benadryl at about 4:30. Woke up just refreshed as can be.
It's very nice.
And then went right to hell. Like, then the weekend progressed, and they were like, well, can you pick up Monday's night? Because we're shorthanded. I'm like, well, there goes that bonus day off I thought I had. But it was good. So it was fun. It worked, and just been trying to very much avoid the Trump at all costs this weekend.
Yeah, I had a speech on at the bar with like closed captioning, hoping that I could like make some sense out of the word salad that was happening, but got nothing.
Basically, he screamed and yelled.
Oh, yes, he did.
Insulted a lot of people, and then just enumerated our current plan for immigration.
All right. Yeah, I read some summaries that
He said
Everything we're already doing.
the only if he would have presented that in a calm tone, it would have been kind of a joke because he just presented our current plan of deporting illegal immigrants, the things that we're doing. But he just he shouted about it, and it was so like demeaning
So
and
angry,
insulting,
I heard,
and
yeah.
so oh god, it just got worse and worse. And then when he presented and then he would enumerate things because it was supposed to be a 10-point plan or a 9-point plan. So every once in a while he would yell out a number. But
Like they were bidding.
but it didn't,
this
they
is
were
my
not
new
in any order,
everything.
nor was it a new thing.
I'm writing this down. Occasionally,
Blurred out numbers.
just scream numbers.
6!
Yeah,
Just
and that was literally what he did. But I think it was 3
And another thing, 7.
that in the middle of a sentence 3 came up. So, and then I watched a couple of movies on my. It was fun to have that night off. I've had a couple Netflix movies that have been gathering dust on my counter since about June. So
Oh, wow.
we get to update the list a little bit.
Very nice.
Watch some stuff I really did. Well, one good, one bad. Not bad. One like really
Meh.
that again. Old people really.
I find it odd that anything that has a movie description in your house has any time wasted not watching it.
Well, there's so much on Netflix streaming now because now I'm hooked on TV shows that I don't get around to the movie for a while. 'Cause
You
I'm
still
like,
order the movies from What's It's, right?
Yeah, I get the streaming and I get the
And the
DVD
DVDs.
sent because there's so much that's not on the streaming. But luckily, there's enough the original stuff.
Yeah.
And you gotta. Stranger Things takes up a good 2 straight days of your life,
Sure does. And then every once in a while you get captured by an old series.
which is what we'll talk about in what's passing as entertainment later this evening. I don't want to spread myself too thin with the one story I've got to share.
Well, then I'll save my week of shamely television for later too.
So so I worked until like 7:45 this morning, went home, went to bed, and then forgot I had like one of those, God bless them, the meetings that you can just call a phone line. You don't have to shower, or otherwise I would have never gone.
Oh, the conference
Would
call.
you get a conference call? I knew there was a fancy Latin name for it.
Here's my thing about conference calls, though. I think there should be some sort of like electroshock component, or every time someone says they get shocked. The
No.
last time I was on a conference call, I swear to God, one of the speakers, and I'm not the most fluid speaker in the world, but every time it was her turn to talk, she would say, well, so if you see in the the sales report, and I'm like, first of all, bitch, you're just reading me the email.
Yeah.
Second of all, stop saying I'm gonna slap you on your face.
Yeah, today's thing was like we sent around a PowerPoint, so we're just going to review that. Does everybody have it? No, I called into this thing so you could read it to me. If the point was to read the PowerPoint, I would have done that later,
Right.
not joined you all for
Could
a
you
group
email
reading.
that to me, please? And then all of a sudden you hear quietly, you can suck my dick.
But it was.
That's what you hear on the
I
conference
feel
call.
that phrase is going to go all kinds of wrong. So warn the children. Maybe time to put the kids to bed.
There's not enough of that on conference calls.
No.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna try that at my next Scholastic call.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Feel free to try it later tonight in the show. We got plenty of time.
So the good thing about that is this isn't a wake and bake. I've been I got up at 3, laid around, listened to that call when I should have been listening to my very important podcast, Keeping It 1600.
Sure.
But I had to interrupt those fuckers.
Or finding stories for your entertainment section.
That wasn't going to happen. Because that requires glasses, and I wasn't going to put them on.
I'm glad I email you guys stuff.
Wait, I can help you with entertainment because I've got a podcast
Yeah. Oh, good. Good.
and I've got TV. that's 15 years old?
Oh, I only went back 12 years. I was told there'd be no math.
I don't think I'm.
So here we are. I've had some coffee. I showered appropriately, and
Look at you.
I know burped into the microphone and made it here.
Wow, we are really a well-rounded show this evening, aren't we?
It's the kind of things you usually get from a fat
You know,
lover.
listener at home, I want to tell you how lucky you are today.
Oh, we got no. Oh my God. We have-
Yeah,
there's
please refresh.
There's 6 people here.
I thought he was going to say there were no listeners. I was going to
No,
die.
there's 6 people on the audio-only stream. I can't. The countless people on the YouTube stream that are watching. I
Tens
have
of people.
4 or 5. I'm not sure.
Well, last week they thought they were struck blind because
Right. Well, this week, unfortunately, you can see us.
I asked about that too. I was like, was there?
a
Video?
big technical difficulty. That one's gonna hold us for a while.
Yeah. We don't have to do anything. For
Really,
a long
one
time.
per minute.
It's like the
Clayton
like
and
the
you?
Thanksgiving dinner of technicals.
Yeah.
I will tell you again. He. It's very, very painful, but he makes great progress. That masseur, Sergio. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I had a session today, the second, and he's like, well, you're better than you were last week. I'm like, well, you damn near killed me last week. But he is all shades of cute. Holy crap, he's cute.
Yeah, and he's because I saw him last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he was very charming.
Very funny kid.
And
Anyway,
he asked if it was me that stressed you out like that. I was like, that's inappropriate.
well, and no, it's
Probably.
I'm naked and face down. This is not the time to ask those questions.
not. No, it's not you, by the way. But anyway, it was a good.
I said that quite clearly.
Yeah. But no, so I saw him again today, and it is insane how much pain you have to go. Yeah, I equate it to losing weight. When you gain weight, it's gradual and it comes on over maybe the past 16 years. It just gradually gets there. But getting rid of it, yeah, that's your challenge.
Yeah.
So the stress can come on, and then but you try to work that shit out. It is painful shit. But he's. Ugh.
Yeah, he's very good, and
Yeah.
he is very cute,
Oh, he's adorable. Adorabs.
and a little overly chatty. Because all of a sudden we were girlfriends because he knew this one.
Well,
And I was like-
I'm working an angle. She's in school for business. I know, but I don't know what other things she's doing.
And I'm just desperately trying to fall asleep.
Oh, he did mention that today.
How often I fall
Well,
asleep?
I asked if because I was quite vocal, and I told him when we went in, I'm like, you're gonna cause me severe pain, and we're gonna get really accustomed to the fuck word because I'm gonna say it a lot. And then today I was laughing through the pain because he goes like, what? I'm like, no, I just have to laugh or I'm gonna start crying right now. And then I said, does Al usually laugh or cry? He goes, nope, Al's usually asleep.
Yeah. Seriously, it could be
How
like
do you sleep through that?
they touch my neck for 15 seconds and then they wake me up 50 minutes later and they're like, well, bye, sir.
I don't know how you could sleep through that.
It's just cool and lovely. And
Oh, it is so intense to me. I mean, I'm guessing you're probably not. You've been going more regularly than I do.
and I start light and end light. So, that rough part's just for in that opening 10, 15 minutes. And then we go back to I want to be relaxed.
Yeah,
I want to be stretched. And if seriously,
He
if I
does-
could go commit a crime in Inquisition era Spain, I would do it just to be put on the rack and stretched because I'm like, oh God, that looks delightful. Because for me, I'm like, just stretch me. I'll hold this pole, you stand there, and just yank the shit. Well, gently pull.
Sure.
Because I feel like that's what it is. I feel like gravity is really getting me down.
I laughed at him because he goes through all of the torture, which again, making progress. My arms all feel much better. Everything's not falling asleep and all that. But at the end of it, he does this little thing like he rubs the top of my head or does something, and I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, well, I want some aspect of this to be relaxing for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's not going to do it. He did make a joke about the fact that all of my noises are probably going to bring him more business because people are going to want to know what's going on in that room.
Yeah, he said that too.
Yeah.
He was like, I might get more business out of this. I'm like, well, yeah. If you look like that and people are coming out of here groaning, then
Yeah.
everyone's. What's our expression that we're whispering into the microphone? Suck my dick. I feel like there was a you can before that. Am I wrong?
Usually, yes.
You're not right. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Oh, I like that.
Oh, this is passive aggressive bullshit. We're just gonna start with this.
Bring it
thing
on.
this conference call that I woke up for.
Yeah.
Twice today, I heard, well, I don't disagree with you. Then just say you agree with me, you fucking cunt. Thank God the phone was on mute and I had to check
are not-
after I screamed it at it. But I was like, no, there's the phrase you're looking for is you're right
You're
or I
right,
agree with
I
you.
agree.
Like, what does I don't disagree? What is the point to saying that out loud?
What that really means is
I want to disagree with you desperately.
I think you're a cunt, but
Right.
In this case, I can't form the argument.
Right. In this case, I look like an asshole on the other side of the argument, so we're gonna let yours go.
So that is my passive-aggressive nightmare moment. Twice, 2 different people
don't
used it,
disagree
and I'm
with
like, this is not appropriate.
Like at you.
One was at me, one was to a general conversation.
Cunty. I don't like conference calls.
I just don't like passive-aggressive.
Come on. Really?
Oh my God, no, I can't. You want to see me get? I yelled at my poor mother in her last year of her life for her doing the. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? A declarative sentence. And she was like,
And then Ruthie died.
and she was like, I didn't raise my kids to talk to me like this. I'm like, yes, you did. You didn't raise us with this passive aggressive bullshit. Like, when did that start? And she just looked at me like, oh, say you're hungry. We'll go get you something to eat. When I'm hungry, I'm going to go get something to eat. That's how this works. When you're hungry, you eat. You don't have to take a poll. We don't need a vote. What are you doing? I was maybe a little angry about being in school at the time.
Maybe there was some other issues you
I
want to work
remember
out.
what my therapist said.
So I'm going to throw a passive aggressive. Would you like to talk?
See, now that's the kind of stuff that just gets you of things ahead. If I wanted to talk, I'd call you. Or I would answer your phone call. Neither of those things
Seems
are going to
fair.
happen. Yeah.
Two problems, one elegant solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And you'd never guess it as a child. I love talking on the phone. Like, I used to be on the phone for hours.
Because we all did, because that was our only mode of communication. Now we have 75 million other modes of communication that are
but
less personal.
he was locked in a basement with a turntable, and the phone was like, somebody else. I can tell somebody else about Donna Summer.
Oh no, there was always somebody down there. I was only alone for a year or so.
You flicked yourself on the public. You figured out other ways. Oh, I can call people, other people.
I know.
Then somebody got Alan Tim a phone book, and it was over from there.
Well, we all know what I would have been doing with that cell phone, so we won't talk about that.
Excuse me, Mrs. Wallace. Have you heard of Donna Summer? I want you to listen to this for a minute.
Let's see. Where did I leave off yesterday? Joan C. Hello.
There's something wrong with your turntable. Are you in front of the turntable?
Side 3 of Bad Girls is really going to change your life. And for just $9.99, you can get it from Columbia House.
Right. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Giorgio Moroder?
Yeah. Who's actually, there's a big thing coming up in New York. It's called I Feel Love, and it's a mix. They're doing a 2-day, 48. I'm not sure if it's the whole 48 hours. I don't know if they're going to stop and vacuum at some point, but it is going to go all night. It's a throwback to the 70s clubs. There's all kinds of DJs playing. Giorgio Moroder is going to be there for a big chunk of it. And they're going to do the whole Studio 54 feel. And it is going to stay open all night. I just don't know if they're, from 6 to 3, you can go find your cocaine dealer and re-up your supply.
Right.
But they're going to have artists walking through all kinds of like a carnival atmosphere. They're going to have models there, people posing, art on display, dancing, DJs, and it's called I Feel Love. And it's like the write-up on it is really amazing. So if you Google that and look it up, it's coming up in New York, and everyone's been sending me the links. And, well, of course, it's called I Feel Love, and Giorgio Moroder is like the headliner DJ. And so he's going to do...
fun to be there.
There's going to be a 70s feel to it, and I hope they don't remix everything into dun, 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 or whatever the music sounds like now. That would have been the 90s.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
That's it.
I think even you're about 5 years behind. But I know nothing about modern
from
music.
Family Guy.
I don't disagree with
Yeah.
I don't.
Don't you feel a little cuntier when you're saying it?
you. It's powerful. It's nice.
But I was tired. So I did end one of my points that I made during the conference call with, all right, forget about it. It doesn't even matter. And then I put it on mute, and you could just tell everybody was like, oh, he's just going to turn into a royal bitch. Just let, he hit mute. Leave it be. He's just swearing at,
Right.
Just be happy she's quiet. It's Al Perkins. Val, are you there, Val?
Val.
Boots and cats.
I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners who is going through a little trial, and I don't know if you guys are friends with him as well on the Facebooks. Anthony Oluak from Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, friend of Amina's, or we met him through Amina.
Okay, because he is going through bless his heart, he's been posting every day about it as he's going through it. He's doing a current bout with a little Bell's palsy, and where kind of, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, it paralyzes half of your face.
My grandfather had that.
and he's going through it right now, and he keeps posting updates about how it feels and what he's going through and all this kind of stuff. It's been kind of interesting to watch his videos that he makes, but he listens, and he usually it's like 6 right now. It's like 6:40 in the morning.
I feel like I remember he's made like an appearance in the chat room.
Yeah, he's been in the chat room a couple times.
Right, he doesn't get to listen live very often because I guess he gets off work later, whatever it is, and he's sleeping now. I just messaged him and he's not awake, but I just wanted to, Anthony, if you're out there, we hope you get better soon because we're watching this, and I'm glad you're part of this. He has a hashtag on his Facebook. It's hashtag Kenyan Queer Questions. Hashtag Kenyan Queer Questions, and it looks like he hosts. And I totally forgot about that. That he hosts his own little podcast, I guess, about I'm gonna guess gay stuff from.
I've only ever seen the live.
Oh, it says right
updates that
there.
they've done.
A weekly podcast hosted by Ima Reed and Anthony Olyak. Ima, IMMAH. I'm assuming that's Ima Reed. I don't know Ima unless she's in the chat room under some other name, and I don't know who that is. But
It sounds vaguely like a drag name, but I don't know if I'm
right.
Kind of.
when you put Ima in
Like-
front of it.
Like, what's your name? Anita Mann.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bell's palsy, as I understand it, it's kind of one of those not a whole lot of rhyme or reason things.
just random.
It shows up and then it goes away.
Yeah. I had a couple friends that were like that many years ago, but I don't know. Oh, there's Amina. She's talking right there. But it looks like he's getting better, according to what Amina says in the chat room. I know that's cool.
I unfortunately at one point had a computer science professor who was originally from China, who had a very thick accent and then developed Bell's palsy like the first 2 weeks of the semester, so no one could understand the man.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It was unfortunate. I still passed the class.
I enjoy telling the story of my Spanish 201 teacher where we got to conversational Spanish. Like now you're like having to like read things in Spanish, write little essays in Spanish. You're up to that level.
Okay.
My Spanish professor, Lord Lovaduck, was Chinese of the China.
Sure.
If
Okay.
I'm pronouncing that correctly.
So it was an ESL for him.
May have may have learned Latin as the second language, and Spanish as her third language, and English was her fourth. Many things got filtered out by number 4. Going back and forth from languages 3 and 4 just got to be a game of charades that quickly devolved into almost ethnic jokes because of how we were trying to imitate what she was saying to see if we could get another accent on there. And it really often bordered on we should be in some kind of a session discussing what we were saying to this Chinese woman who was lovely. But you would try to say it back to her and take one of the accents out, and it would go so wrong.
Pass that class, did you?
I did. And let me tell you
Had
how.
to think about it.
It's because the essay at the end was about the movie, I think it's called Victory, and it's about the soccer team in Pele, or a prison soccer team. I can't remember now. I had seen the movie and knew enough about what I was reading that I knew that they were talking about a movie I had seen.
Oh.
So even though I couldn't read most of the sentences, I had seen the movie, so I could spit back an answer in my Spanish vocabulary and discuss the movie and just hoped I hit the points of the question that I did not understand. Oh yes, real solid B
Probably
plus there.
baffled the shit out of her.
Well, I may have described a scene in some detail because it contained all the words I knew how to use. Football.
Football.
But it was always so funny.
Pele.
And it was one of those things where you spent the whole class
Same
listening
legit.
to Spanish conversations and you had to like transcribe stuff.
Sure.
I don't know what that was, if that was 201 or
Busy
301
work.
or 19 years later.
6 of one, half dozen the other. Who cares?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I've written that down. That may be the title of tonight's show. I don't.
That's giving me great joy right
And
now.
it's going to be
disagree.
followed with, you can suck my
my
dick.
Parenthetically, you can suck my dick.
We now have an official drinking volley.
Oh.
Yes, how it will go back and forth.
Can.
We have a drinking conversation to make up for a severe lack of content. We'll just say these two phrases back and forth till everyone's fucked up,
Till everyone's so
and then we'll
loaded
turn
they
out
don't
the
know the
power
difference.
and go home. Yeah.
Right.
This sounds like a solid plan.
Oh, for love and peace.
Now, Cryptor, I don't think we have down where you're from. You're not on my list. You're not on my very carefully written
I'm gonna
list.
assume Cryptor may be the same age as me. If the 1969 is the if it's just a happenstance number, or if that's the year you might have been birthed.
Yes, because Clayton McKee's birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is soon. Oh,
Yeah.
some of you are currently celebrating it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Happy birthday to me tomorrow, where you are.
Yeah.
Or if we're listening this tomorrow, because if it's not live,
Amina, is Clayton having a lovely birthday there?
I'm sure I am. Tell me what I got.
Yeah.
Blow out that candle.
Scorching case of crabs. I don't
Scorching.
disagree with you.
You can suck my dick.
It's even funnier when you say it, young man.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
Northern Michigan. All right.
Northern or further South Dakota, whichever one you like.
We enjoy knowing how you self-identify, but you don't have to share. That can remain a secret.
Sure, we don't care.
We
what you-
won't disagree with you.
Oh,
Suck
about-
my dick. I had to move on to somebody else's grapes.
right.
I was just thinking that wasn't going to be funny for a while, but I think it's going to be funny
Yeah.
for a while.
No,
Good time.
for
We
at
can-
least the next 2.5 hours.
We can stretch that out.
Probably.
It
so.
just occurred to me that I should have been sitting here putting together some headlines, but
No,
Well, this has been too much fun. Bullshitting our way through this. I happen to have 5 stories with pictures, by the way, that we're going to go
I
through.
have,
That's
I
lovely.
have 2.
That's all right. What, for headlines?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't have anything for your segment, but you're going to bleed over.
I'm actually multitasking. I put together a little bit more of an entertainment section, and I got 2 headlines.
Oh, golly. The cup runneth over for Ms. Perkins today.
I'm
She's
busy,
working on grapes
I'm
and
busy
coffee.
being entertainment over here.
Okay. Well, I did send you one story.
I see that. I'm going to bring that up.
Okay, you should. That's good. I like that you're as timely as today's headlines.
I'm just going to silently contemplate it for 3 hours of stimulating podcastery.
Oh, podcastery. Oh, hi, Don from North Carolina.
Don, that's a firm and fast no.
Nope. I do disagree with you. There will be no partial nudity on this show, really, ever. No.
You know what? I tell people all the time, this is as naked as you're ever going to see me.
Yeah.
When I go in the pool, it's a very similar outfit. It's just a little bit more water friendly.
Then I think it's a bathing costume at that point.
A burqa.
It's still shorts and a t-shirt.
Bathing costume. We're
Right.
gonna go with the.
My
Bathing
shorts
costume.
just happen to be made of like bathing suit material and they're actually a lovely rainbow. They start red
I
at
mean,
the
I don't
bottom.
disagree with you. You are describing your own clothes.
Harrison, I don't know what you're talking about. What's freezing up? Is it what you're seeing or what we're broadcasting? 9 out of 10, it's going to be what you're seeing.
Ruh-roh.
Because I don't think I'm going out of here. It's bad because it's looking good on the feeds.
Feeds.
On the feeds. In the feeds. In fact, I'm going to in fact, I'm looking at it right here. It's a beautiful picture. Al's talking in this scene.
Well, that's strange.
Yeah.
I know, that weird? Very weird.
It's very odd to like get in
Must
on
be
that
an old
exact moment.
show.
When Kat got here and I said Marnie had called out, she says, well, Al just talk more.
Yeah. It's good to have a backup plan.
Sure it is. Absolutely.
No,
Oh.
there's no burkinis. Listen, I still
The
look
Burk-
like
your
the
burkini.
same handsome young man you're used to seeing,
Maybe confused with
Just
Justin Bieber.
surrounded by water.
Ah.
There's
No.
often still a hat.
A chapeau.
I'm not kidding. In fact, at the bar they were doing some like beach themed something, and so Jeffrey sends out a message and says, "Hey, you know,
dress.
everybody dress and wear beach wear." So I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
What, cargo shorts and...
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Swim trunks
Okay.
and a like a swim cover up shirt. You know,
Okay.
the sun. I looked kind of like I was getting ready to go boogie boarding,
Oh.
but whatevs.
Okay.
That's a thing.
I've seen it done on TV.
People do that.
I have heard about it.
Many people.
I read earlier down in the chat room, I missed it. Joe D had been asked if what I was doing to celebrate my birthday. You're watching it.
No, you do a show on Wednesdays, don't you?
Yeah, but this is pretty much the peak of the peak of it all.
Oh.
I mean, isn't that great? I spent it with you fine people.
Now we just
No, wait
feel
till
bad.
47 doesn't matter. 50 is gonna matter.
We'll get you a number for a therapist.
You know, I'm gonna tell my therapist.
Suck my dick.
I was gonna say, I know a nice computer.
I'm just
repair
calling about
slash
that
therapist.
conversation we had last week about that money. You know, that kind of stuff. Oh, what a bunch of horse shit. Well, let's see if we can make magic happen. Al seems to think he's got a couple things to talk about, and I think we should, because it's our night and we can do these things. Where the hell is my little hickey do? Alphabetical. Sounds like, oh, this one. We'll do this and see if it works. We'll try this. Headline stuff on a Tuesday. I'm going to be doing this almost alone, except Al said he's got a couple here. Here we go on a Tuesday night. Get ready. A neighbor bulldozes man's house after dispute.
Rio 2016 Olympics has its weirdest story.
Bacon-filled trailer burns to the ground.
Another creepy clown incident reported in Ohio.
School boards find out that a hairdresser is gay.
I'm reading an article that Clayton sent me.
Bigoted sore loser. And a Mississippi man immune from being arrested. All these stimulating stories coming up right now on Q Talk America. Oh, that's lovely. I'm reading a story that Clayton sent me.
That is a headline. And in
It
breaking
really is.
news, I'm reading a story.
Yes, there's that.
I'm betting it as we speak.
Well, a dispute between neighbors led one man to take heavy machinery to his neighbor's home and completely destroy it, according to Tipton County Sheriff's Department. The incident happened on Sunday on the 700 block of Grimes Road in Drummond, Tennessee. Deputies started receiving calls from that area on Friday regarding a neighbor that fired multiple shots into the woods. Deputies talked to the neighbor, John Higdon, who's 48 years old, who said there were multiple people hiding in and running from the woods that were wearing ghillie suits. Whatever the hell ghillie suits? G-H-I-L-L-I-E?
Ghillie suits they're a head-to-toe camouflage cover that
Oh, for hunting?
hunters will wear to completely blend in with their sceneries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Are you wearing one now?
Can you
You
see
don't know
me?
my life.
Well, he told deputies that he fired shots into the woods at the people wearing these camouflage suits. Well, if I would have read further, if I would have had time to have read further down, the description of a ghillie suit is this.
You know, I tell my kid all the time, reading comprehension is all about context. Read the sentence before and the sentence after.
Contextual clues.
You two show up here without reading anything. Don't give me shit. I have 5 stories here.
And yet, look how delightful and charming.
But the funny thing is that the line that it says about the suit
Is the next line.
is almost exactly what she said. A ghillie suit is a type of camouflage clothing that is made to blend in with the background environment such as trees, sand, or snow.
Because when the editor read that, he was like, what
the
the
fuck
fuck
is
is a
this?
ghillie suit?
Whoever wrote this can suck my dick.
You know, I have an uncle that we used to call Rambo because he was like a weekend warrior. He was a Army Reserve kind of a guy.
Slightly crazy.
Right, a little bit.
Yeah.
And he wanted like this side business of making ghillie suits. So there was like a year of my life where I would get dropped off at his house after school, and he would pay me like $5 an hour to like brush out burlap and do all this kind of shit to try and
Brush out.
it's a whole thing. Yeah, to try and make these ghillie suits.
That's what these are. This is burlap. That's what our sound things are.
Yeah,
Now-
so if I took a wire brush to it
Okay.
and I brushed it out, it would get all stringy and fluffy, and it would look like shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
This week in interior landscaping, you
You're
can suck my dick.
Cat shows us how to make shrubbery.
I don't disagree with you.
After deputies left, a second complaint was filed regarding shots being fired once again. Deputies returned and arrested Higdon for reckless endangerment. Now, the incident followed early reports in the week from Higdon, who told deputies that approximately 5 people were shining lights into his residence, and he believed that it was his neighbor's employees doing this. Now, the next day, after Higdon had been arrested, a neighbor called the sheriff's office and said that they could see and hear a large piece of construction equipment bulldozing down the neighbor's home. Deputies went to the area and found Higdon's home had been destroyed as we cut to a picture of Higdon's home. There's one picture. I don't think that
doesn't
looks
look safe.
completely intact. Oh, but this other angle is a little more menacing. There's that one. Yeah, tore it up. Detectives found an orange backhoe at the neighbor's house. The neighbor, 57-year-old Edgar Dallas McClellan, was arrested for aggravated criminal trespassing and felony vandalism. Got him on 2 things. Sammy Higdon and John Higdon's brother said he doesn't know why McClellan would want to do something like this to his brother. He said the two were not in a feud, contrary to what deputies had said.
Well, we may be watching the commencement of the feud if I'm...
So wait, Edgar was mad about the ghillie suits, and so he tore down half of this guy's house?
What is the same story? That was be my follow-up question. Because that took an ugly turn from describing camouflage to I was going to take a backhoe to your house.
Now, let me tell you how this wraps up here. Now, Mr. Higdon is now forced to live in a camper next to where his home once stood. It's the end result of a feud Tipton County investigators said got a little bit out of control. This, quote to quote, Mr. Higdon, this man over here decides to come over here at 2 in the morning with a bulldozer and tractor and starts pushing his house down, Sammy said.
Because he tried huffing and puffing, and that didn't work.
Exactly.
He run the tractor through
Step
both.
one, huff.
He run the tractor through both bedrooms where the bed sits. I still don't know what to believe. Well, believe your house is gone, sir. Both.
I like that it's vandalism. A vandalism would be painting a picture of a broken down house. No. And this, even I can't ask for criminal mischief in this one. It's gone too far.
It's gone too far. Both men are now free on bond and are awaiting their court date in the Tipton County General Sessions Court. Detectives are continuing to investigate, and according to Sheriff J.T. Poncho Chumley,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
they're expecting additional charges to be filed.
Listen, Barney.
Is the poncho in quotation marks?
It is.
Thank God.
It's J.T. Poncho Chumley.
That indicates that it's a nickname and not a given
And
name.
actually, that sounds like a cartoon character name.
No, it sounds
Like
like
the
Poncho
walrus- the
from...
wal-
Isn't that from Chips?
No, that was John Poncherella.
Poncho. Didn't
But
anybody
they
went by?
called him Ponch. It was Ponch and John.
Oh, okay. So this man added
Poncho
a
is
vowel.
more of a front and back cape.
Yes.
From the fashion department this evening.
And is there anything funnier than the first episode of Ugly Betty when she wears that fucking poncho to work? Even I wanted to pick on her a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to have to add that to my old irrelevant TV to start watching.
Yeah, but it's beautiful because it's just,
I was just gonna say that.
all the money in that whole thing was Vanessa Williams' salary and the fucking HD.
The HD TV. That
I'm
was
in.
that was that first year of HD TV where you would just stare at your TV and be like, God, it's so pretty. Like you were on
It's
an acid
insane.
trip. Sometimes it felt like you're on an acid trip.
It was silly.
Yeah, I
Sometimes.
definitely remember that, but Ugly Betty was never on.
It was never on my radar either. I caught it a few times with him, but he literally forced me to sit down once in his living room. Was just look how beautiful this is.
Yeah.
And he just sat at the end of his table and he just looked at his TV like he was in the room.
No, I remember that fascination because I similarly bought an HD TV for the first time about that same time when Netflix started streaming, when HD was a thing on TV. And I would tell people to come over to my house and be like, hey, can you come over tonight? Yeah, sure. What do you need? Oh, just come over. We'll talk about it when you get here.
It was Jeopardy, the brilliant
yeah.
blue of the Jeopardy screen. Lost,
Target commercials.
Pushing Daisy. The Target Pushing Daisies was so beautiful. And then eventually Hannibal, that you were
Yeah.
just like, I know it's a crime scene, but I would like it as art on my wall.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I went a little more educational. I would bring up the National Geographic HD videos on
And
on
Earth.
Netflix.
If you haven't spent the time with not Richard Attenborough, his brother, whichever one's in Jurassic Park, it's his brother, and it's the BBC documentary Earth from Discovery Channel.
I have it on deep Blu-ray.
That they did, and I tell people all the time with Blu-ray players and high def, it is your go-to first thing to watch. The polar bears, the ice caps, the mountain ranges. It's just spectacular filming, captured in a way that I don't think I'd ever seen any nature documentary done, and it's just breathtaking. And I still pop that in once in a while.
It's beautiful just to have on as a background. Yeah.
Actually,
My dentist has it, and the way my dentist office is, when you're laying back in the chair, they have a screen in the ceiling, a flat screen.
Oh, yeah.
And they just have scenery stuff like that, and it's got to be like the Earth video because it's all beautiful shots of streams babbling and polar bears and whatnot.
and I think they're right. I think it's David Attenborough that does the thing, and it's just so and just his way of he has just that charming way with that English accent, and where there's a whole thing about birds and fortune favors the bold. You know what I mean? He just gives you all this droll Englishman shit.
Not to be confused with the video about the honey badger. Very different.
Yeah.
Not narrated nearly as eloquently.
No.
Because he don't give a shit. Honey badger don't care.
He
Doesn't
don't.
care. Al, there was a question asked of you. Desperate Housewives 2000. Is that an HD?
Oh yeah, yes. That was from that same. I think 2004 was the year that all those shows kind of started, and that's when HGTV and ABC made the investment because they were scraping the bottom of the barrel anyway. So we might as well try something.
Might as well spend the rest of the money
So
on.
they went HD, and they went hard into HD. And they really did ruin TV for the rest of the
Everybody
world.
else is looking
Because then
like
you go to
shit.
somebody else's house and you'd be like, your people on your TV don't have eyes.
You can't even touch them. Because at one point, Al thought he was actually on the set,
Oh
like
no,
with them.
Modern Family was the one.
That's
There was an
fancy.
episode where they were getting their photographs all done in white, and the whites are so crisp.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, it looked like Julie Bowen had walked into my living room. I was like, oh,
That would have been
not
fun,
an
though.
unpleasant experience.
No, that would be fine.
I was gonna try to suck my dick or anything.
I do not disagree with her. Would you like to take one of your stories and run up the flagpole?
It's a short story, but now this happened before the Olympics started.
Oh my God!
This is from the trials,
It's almost like a flashback.
and we were out of town.
I enjoyed that. It's a dream sequence, if you will.
So, just as they were doing the trials, and some of them were actually held in Olympia Stadium, but an Olympic kayaker may have capsized at the Rio Games after bumping an underwater sofa. He ran into because they hadn't finished the total cleanup. So
Right.
that kayak stream, one of the teams capsized, and as he capsized, they couldn't see what he hit. They thought it was some kind of an unfortunate accident. And I didn't have time to send this to you, but
So
I've been
they
sitting on
dr-
the story
they
for a
dredged
while.
the-
No,
dredged the river.
it floated to the top. He unearthed it.
It dislodged it from where it was being.
Wow, I have not heard that one.
So, the picture's not in here, but there is a really. Let me see if I can find this. If I can send you this picture. Just fucking nuts. But just the fact, and I saw it on the TV, and I completely forgot about it.
I'm ready to receive your picture, sir.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there's another breaking news story on the Facebook, so I'll have to get to here in a minute. It's about a naked man.
What?
Yeah.
So that was that one. It would have been more timely at the time, but we were on vacation.
It's still funny.
Yeah.
We're into it.
So there's some funny memes. They had all the Twitter stuff.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, I don't
No,
think,
the story is real, but this picture is just a
but
funny.
I think you have. I think it's funny. Oh, I can't save it there. I have to save it here. Hang on a minute. Oh, this is a funny thing.
And then I'm gonna click it over here.
Well, I have to. Well, yeah, but
Like, okay, so I'll read some of the other tweets that went out. Is it
like
too
a
late to add
Jaws.
kayak sofa to the list of newly approved sports? Given ticket prices, I think kayak sofa was. Oh fuck. No, I clicked on the whole guy's link. Damn it. Anyways, they were funny. Where is it? Like it was just a misguided attempt at better seats. Kayaker hits an underwater sofa. Me. Oh, underwater sofa. That must be one of those terms from sports I don't understand. And then some Warren K. Nice of the Brazilians to put a rest stop in the middle of a race.
'Cause sometimes you get tired.
sometimes.
Need a little nap.
And then one of the first ones that came out from the news story was Mark Siebert wrote, "Please be true, please be true, please be true."
So the picture Al sent me is this. So it starts out, it's this. So if you look at just here's a little thing, but you zoom out from the picture, and it's the couch on a pile of a bunch of other shit that's in the bottom of the ocean over there in Rio.
And it was just one of those crazy stories when and it's so good that they went out without a hitch. And I know we talked about that, but I still am kind of amazed by that.
Oh, overall it went off without a hitch.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, except for an American douchebag, that went off very
Right.
safely.
yeah.
Maybe
It
the hotel
only displaced poor people and
Yeah.
demolished their economy.
but that's every 4 years.
Whatever.
We're like 20 years too late to be offended by the shit that goes on every time.
Fucking poor people. Just in the way.
Wow. Okay, wasn't expecting that from Ms. Carlson, but there we are.
You know what they said when they moved him? You can suck my dick.
Yes, okay. Now, based on what I know of people from Rio, I might have taken a few up on that offer. Did you have a story you want to talk to us about, Kat, or did you want us to
Well,
me
sure.
go back and you come later? I don't care. We got
Well,
time.
frequent users of the internet may see on their newspaper feeds, or their newspaper feeds. No, their Facebook news feeds.
Would you like to start again? Would you like to just start over?
No. I'm just going to power through.
Use your words, honey.
In any event, you may see someone outraged at the Wall Street Journal and their apparently conflicting headlines about Trump.
Can you give us an example of what outrage might look like or sound like?
Oh my God, please boycott the Wall Street Journal immediately. They're being unfair and they're distributing different issues to different markets and they're helping Trump. They're on Trump's side.
Oh, no.
That wasn't exactly what I was thinking of, but go ahead.
What?
Continue on.
What, Clayton McKee?
No, I just
To
figured-
you, would you
just
please
outrage?
illustrate-
Just stupid newspaper doesn't know what they're doing. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. That kind of thing. That's what I was wanting.
Best outrage ever.
We're going to need you more of like a 3.
You're at
What was
a
that?
7 right
The
now.
lights are bright enough. If we can't tone those down, we're going to need to tone you down.
Gonna need a special locker for the hat. All right, continue
In
on.
any event, just a few short days ago on September the 1st, year of our Lord 2016, a photograph purportedly showing 2 editions of the Wall Street Journal side by each,
Side by each.
with markedly different front page headlines regarding
Market.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's stance on immigration was circulated on social media, with probably more Clayton McKee-like outrage
Yeah.
than Kat Carlson outrage, because Kat Carlson outrage is very quiet, apparently. The 2 headlines, the Wall Street Journal, and you can see they've got the 2
Hang on,
papers side by each.
I'll have it here.
Oh, you're gonna have it right there. That'll be handy.
Gay seconds, and there it is, right there.
Fancy. So you can see on the left here, it says, "Oh, Trump softens his tone," as we all kind of expected him to, after he had gone to Mexico and had just kind of stood there.
Right.
And then on the right, it says, "Trump talks tough on wall." I know. And you think, well, gosh,
Conundrum.
What do
kind
I
of-
think?
what kind of games is the Wall Street Journal trying to play with us? Well, the kind of games are, they just changed their mind and decided to revise the story as the story developed. Large circulating newspapers, and this is from Snopes that you sent me, large circulating newspapers will change their edition
Yes.
throughout the day.
A morning edition and an evening edition.
Sure. So Snopes says that this claim that they, distributed to different markets is mostly false. They did issue the 2 different editions with the headline change and probably a substantial story change as well.
Well,
Because they went with what had been presented to them for 9 to 10 days about
Right.
what was coming. So like a biography of someone that dies, you have it ready. They probably pre-prepared the headline expecting it to happen, and then Mein Kampf started, or however it translates from its original German. And it went wrong. But they do that like award show nights, like if you get the early edition or if you're on the East Coast, theirs comes out 3 hours earlier than ours, and it has to be ready at 5 a.m. So
Right.
some things just haven't happened yet.
right.
And then they'll have an afternoon or an evening. So things get modified, and who was going to be brave enough to make it through that whole speech?
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. The edition on the left was published after Trump met with the Mexican president early in the day, and of course referenced a seemingly cooperative tone of their discussion. And the edition on the right was published after Trump delivered his speech on immigration later in the day here in the Valley of the Sun. And the headline on the right referenced Trump's reasserting his stance that he would force Mexico to pay for building the wall,
How did
among other things.
Luckily, my sister just texted me, and I heard it go off in there, so it was in the bottom of my purse.
JCP?
And there it is.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is sometimes hard for people to understand, unless you're like super nerd and, watch documentaries about going to press or
Sure.
have
But-
been somewhere
well-
like at one time in the morning, and then like the USA Today is a national paper, so it comes out like 3 different times
Right.
a day with revised things. Like most live coverages, like the Super Bowl, they don't know who the winner is when they put the paper to bed, depending on like what part of the country. So sometimes
Right.
it'll say Dolphins had an early lead. Not that they've been in the Super Bowl recently, but you know what I mean?
Right. Just pick a team.
And you have to wait to
Right.
find out because it's newspaper or go online. It's kind of one of the problems with the early morning paper is
Well,
they can't update you. You
but-
can't update that piece of
yeah.
paper.
But the thing that you can do as the consumer is when you're reading the outrageous thing,
These are people
on
that
your
are making
Facebook
camo
feed.
appropriate for
open,
shopping.
listen.
She helped. 1 point.
At one point, I thought that was going to be my industry. That was
Yeah.
going to be my vocation in life.
I'm so glad you stepped up.
I was very near to being a high school dropout at the time. I thought vocation is the way for me to go. My
I
uncle's
still believe.
gonna-
I mean, not just
right.
for you, but for
Right.
everyone.
But in
Vocation is the
general.
way to go.
Right.
That's why I became a nurse. It's a vocation.
I would like to say that's why I became a bartender, but I really just fell into it and then decided that I liked it. And,
We all did.
Well, another thing that's
Now my
different.
feet suffer.
Another thing that's different with newspapers now that wasn't that way, and I don't know exactly how far back technology I'd have to go for this, but literally, like USA Today is a national paper. It is produced all over. It's all hodgepodge together. But now they have the technology that it's all shot out everywhere, and then they print it locally, so it can all come out in the morning, as opposed to used to be like Wall Street Journal was only published back there, and that's the only way you could get it. And they would fly it out to different places.
But your local paper has always had access to that national thing. They call that the AP.
Yeah.
They call that the Associated Press. Your local paper has always had access to that, fairly up-to-date national story.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is, I get that for local paper. I'm saying for the more of the national stuff now, they can print it and it all goes out in the same shot. But now they have the technology where they can literally revise it on the fly like that. Used to be years ago you couldn't do that. Like you said, they would have 2 different presses, one morning, one evening. But now I think with technology, it's helped them a lot more with being
we know that, people know that, but then there's the people that are just reading the thing and being like, oh my God, it's a conspiracy. The Wall Street Journal has 2 different pictures.
People that bulldoze houses in Tennessee.
2 things. 1, if you suspect a conspiracy. 2, open a new tab on your browser and just type in whatever you think the conspiracy is and read the top 3 entries.
Oh.
That's rule of thumb. Whatever you think the conspiracy is, if I were to open a new tab and type in Wall Street Journal 2 headlines, see what it says.
This is exciting.
We're vetting a story live.
It's very exciting. Wall Street Journal 2 headlines. I'm going to get the Snopes article I just read.
Okay.
I'm going to get a response from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, a response.
Yep.
As timely as today's headlines.
Yeah. And then I'm going to get... Then I just get directed to the Wall Street Journal. But if I just read the top 2, I've got Snopes, which debunks the thing, and then I've got an answer from the Wall Street Journal. I probably have a lot more information than the post that I read from my Uncle Idiot Johnny.
But the poorly educated saw Wall Street Journal and thought, ooh, liberal media, without knowing, A, Wall Street Journal is very conservative.
Right.
And B, the media's not out to get you.
No.
Like, settle the fuck down.
They don't know you. They don't want to know you. They don't care about you.
There's a great brouhaha brewing in the chat room about the Paralympics. And
I was reading that.
They start...
Tomorrow,
or
today, depending where you
I
are.
thought I had missed them. I thought there should be some coverage somewhere.
I saw some pictures today for rehearsals, for time trials and different things. I saw some pictures that were online earlier about all that. But there's that.
That's all I got.
This story made me think of you, Al. I know it may bring a tear to your eye, but I figure we'll get through it together. A tractor trailer carrying bacon caught fire and burned on Interstate 68 in western Maryland on Monday. This would be yesterday.
I bet it smelled delicious.
It shut down eastbound traffic for 6 hours, according to Cumberland, Maryland Fire Department Captain Steve Grogg. Now I have a picture of the truck. Where'd it go? It's this one. It's just heartbreaking. You can't really tell. It's just a truck that's on fire. It says, quote, "We'd rather have something like this than hazardous material on fire. Tanker truck supplied the water and eventually doused the blaze. There were no injuries.
That's good.
The truck came to a stop
Except for
and
to
burned.
the bacon.
Right, well,
No, it's almost
good,
done.
crispy, almost done. Right. The truck came
The
to
way
a stop.
I like bacon based on this picture, we're nearly there, Mrs. Garrett.
I was almost done, Mrs. Garrett. The truck came to a stop and burned just yards past an interstate exit. Westbound interstate traffic was stopped for a short period during the early firefight. The local police department said the Maryland State Police dealt with the detours and probably loaded up trunkfuls of bacon and took it home. A dispatcher in the area's Allegheny County 911 Center said he stepped outside late Monday and could smell bacon burning from the office.
That's like heaven. In Divine Providence, a Wonder Bread truck and a delivery of Miracle Whip. Soon we're on site.
There was a Wonder Bread truck. A tomato truck went by. It was great.
Because I'm just telling you, if you told me we were going to have Wonder Bread with Miracle Whip and some burned bacon on it, I'd be like, all right.
Oh, apparently this is
Bring me a tomato and I'm in.
apparently this is an ongoing issue.
Right.
They're all on Interstate 68 and they're all eastbound coming down a mountain. The brakes get hot on the truck and catch on fire. They've had 3 other truck fires in the past couple weeks.
Coming in hot with the bacon. Coming in hot with the bacon.
Hot.
That's a day you wish you had a CB. That right there.
While no other drivers or vehicles were affected by the fire, Grogg said a portion of the fire hose
Coming in hot,
was
I got
damaged.
a basket full of oinkers.
A
They're
portion-
sizzling.
Portion of the fire hose was damaged because it got hit by hot bacon grease and burned it.
Do not put out this fire in the nude. It's uncomfortable for everyone.
It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Take out the...
They're sizzling.
I just think of all the dogs in the area that were going, bacon, 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 let's go, bacon.
It's not nice to talk about me like I'm not here.
It's a bitchy dog.
And I thought,
Drink your juice, Shelby.
Amina says that if a truck stalled on a Kenyon road and had food in it, not a single scrap of bacon would have been burned.
You got through that quick?
Same through my house too. Like, free bacon. Oh, it was Bacon Day. I forgot to tell you about my Bacon Day celebration,
Oh, tell me.
which at the Snooze.
Tell me. Listen to the interest. Oh, do tell me.
Here, let me just close this.
Yeah,
Bacon.
can we all just look at Al for a
Tell me
minute?
about your holiday. So, Snooze, an eatery,
Yeah,
had.
I did see a post about that.
Yeah, they had Bacon Day, and it was not all it was cracked up to be. It turns out it was, I don't know, supporting people that grew pigs or fed pigs, or I don't know. Money went somewhere.
They've done this before with pancakes, and I remember being slightly disappointed.
Pancakes are grown somewhere?
Yes.
But yes, yes. But what they did was they had a bacon-infused Bloody Mary with bourbon that was tasty,
All right.
and they just added. They had a couple of menu items that
As
had
long as
bacon
they
in
didn't
them.
use that god-awful bacon vodka.
No,
No.
it was
Oh.
bourbon.
Better.
It was, and they have a pancake of the day there that's they're famous for, and they're
Yeah.
usually just god awful sweet. It's just diabetes on a plate.
It's really just sugar. It's confectioner sugar.
Yeah, and it's one of those
just
things where you
shaped
just
in
send
way
away
of
the
a
syrup
pancake.
because
Yeah.
you honestly say, no, that's too far.
Syrup is too much in this
that's,
instance.
that's where we've gone too far.
now
But
that
this
you've
one
put
was a-
sweet potatoes
Yeah.
and pumpkin pie filling and cream cheese,
Strawberries.
and candied walnuts.
Yeah, it's the pancake of the
It's
day. They're
a lot.
insane.
Wow,
But
that's
this,
a lot.
This one was
Yeah.
like an apple cake with bacon baked into it, and it was
Mm-hmm,
very savory. It had a lot of like savory sweet elements, and it's my favorite pancake of the day ever there. So they're all over. They're in
That's saying a
Colorado.
lot.
They're in California. And they're here in Arizona, and they Snooze an eatery or a breakfast eatery. It's
Yeah.
really tasty. But Bacon Day was funny because I had jokingly the last time I was there put it in my phone and set an alarm.
Oh.
And then when I got to work, because I
And
had
then
to go
you got
off
the
like 12
alarm?
hours later, and the alarm went off, and I'm like, Bacon Day! And I'm like, oh my God, we gotta go to breakfast. So we made a big deal that they're like, what is Bacon Day? I'm like, I don't know, but I put it in my phone, and the alarm went off. So we gotta round
go.
up the troops.
Right. It was calendar worthy. We gotta go.
So it's a fun way to surprise yourself, to put something random into your computer
Oh.
and then put like a 12-hour alert in. Like,
It is very fun.
You have anticipation for that whole 12
Yeah,
hours
like-
that you're working. Oh my God, when I get done for work, I'm going to get bacon!
Bacon!
that's what it's called, an AM eatery. I knew it had something, but the word eatery is in there, and that struck me as
Sure.
delightful. Whose turn is it?
Amina, I would like, was it Amina that said that? Yes. Or excuse me, Annette, just move to America. No steak or bacon. Isn't my life sad? Annette posted in there. Just
I was
move.
not aware of the bacon conundrum.
Move here.
Oh no.
I'm not sure that his belief system would change if he moved here. I don't know if
He's
it's for
the one
lack
saying,
of,
isn't my life sad? I think there's a want and a need.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a spiritual element too? You don't know. Did you
Like,
ask?
Yeah.
I give a shit.
I was not aware of the bacon part of that. I thought it was just
Just cows.
steak. I could, if you told me I had to go with that steak, we could work it out.
Yeah, but when you get to hamburgers, I'm out.
I
Like,
agree.
I could
I'm-
probably do without steak, but if you said I could never have a cheeseburger again in my life, peace.
I'm
No.
with, I'm
As I
with
get
her.
older,
Life's not worth
the
living.
craving the cheeseburgers is becoming a real fucking thing. Real honest
Because
needs.
now we get older,
Yeah.
we don't care about our figures as much.
No, I never really liked. I never just really liked them
Oh,
before.
I see.
And so now all of a sudden I'm like,
now it's a thing. You're like, oh my god, cheeseburger.
Uh-huh.
In-N-Out Burger is my new best friend.
Very few countries outside of the developed world keep pigs. Thanks, Amina.
Interesting.
Oh, I honestly did not know that.
So apparently, spirituality is not a concern.
No, not his thing.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Okay.
I didn't know. I was
Ne-
trying to be
and
respectful.
Nero, thank you for that happy birthday wish. Thank you. That's kind of you.
So another creepy clown incident reported in Ohio. Now there have been some creepy
Is
clowns.
this the one in the woods?
The one in the woods is in South Carolina, and they can't. The worst part about that is they can't disagree with the kids that are saying they're there, because they can't really. They went to the house where they think the clouds are.
So
hanging.
is I do disagree with you or I don't disagree with
I
you?
don't know.
That's what they say to the kids because I don't disagree with you.
I don't disagree with you. But they can't disprove the story that the kids in South Carolina are telling
Okay.
about the clowns that are like right on the outside of the woods and luring them in. And now a couple parents have seen these clowns.
Oh, okay.
And there may or may not be. It's like Bigfoot. There may or may not be a photograph of one of the clowns taken from like an upstairs window. Like if someone approaches, the clowns kind of disappear. It's very creepy.
It is very. What is the name of this town again?
It's in
not going
South
there.
Carolina. The creepy clown story.
I just crossed South Carolina off of my list of places to ever go.
That is the way to go.
Yeah,
So,
I just wrote it down and crossed it out.
Columbus, Ohio, a 14-year-old boy heading to a school bus stop Tuesday morning told police he was chased by a black-clad man armed with a knife and wearing a clown mask. The victim was able to get away from him by throwing a rock at him.
Smart.
Police are now canvassing the area in search of the suspect and keeping a close eye on the bus stop where the incident occurred. We don't know whether this was a prank or not, but we're taking it seriously.
Well, I don't think if you're chasing someone with a knife, I think prank is out.
Yeah, because it's not a good. Then you don't understand how pranks work.
Right.
The alleged attack on the teenager came as police down in South Carolina were investigating multiple reports of menacing clowns allegedly trying to lure children to an abandoned house in the woods. This local police officer says they're aware of the South Carolina story, but they're investigating locally at first. Residents of the North Columbus town neighborhood said they were rattled by the reported clown attack. And there's just something strange going on. And the thing about the South Carolina story is that a couple of the kids said they were lured in to this house where there were people staying, and the police found the house. There really was
a house.
Parts of the story did prove true, except for the house was abandoned and it didn't like there had been anybody in it, let alone, a band of marauding clowns setting up shop. So it was really strange as to whether it's true or not, and whether or not that picture that they have is real, because it's very Bigfoot-esque. It's taken from a distance. So there's just something really creepy about this, and I did is this our new thing? Like, are we as a nation now have some kind of creepy clown?
Or is it just a little bit of promotion gone terribly wrong for the new Pennywise movie, or for the new
For It. But that's I never thought about that. That does kind of
And is
play
it,
into
is it the right
it.
area? What
No,
city?
anything Stephen King either takes place in Maine or in Colorado. You only get two choices.
Okay, well, I don't know because I've never read any.
And if your story starts off somewhere else, then you're on your way to Maine
Or Colorado.
Yeah, Bangor, Maine, Boulder, Colorado.
That's true.
Got it.
I don't
disagree with you. You can suck my dick.
Don't disagree with you.
Officious little prick. That's the opening 3 words of The Shining. In case you wanted that trivia.
I didn't know.
Oh, thank you.
So that's it. So this clown thing, and it's getting kind of disturbing. And now this one has a knife, but they're luring the South Carolina ones. It's luring with money. It's luring with candy. And the fact that abandoned house was where the kids had described it made it even weird, more strange, I thought. Plus, we've all just watched Stranger Things, so we're all just a little bit on edge about rural communities and children with no front teeth.
That's always frightening.
Oh, have you not watched Stranger Things?
I haven't yet.
Oh
No.
my God. Okay.
Oh,
So that's it. So that's another creepy clown story.
I don't appreciate the crown floors.
Into the woods and off they go.
Freaky. Cat. Yes,
I
or no?
had one. No.
Okay, never mind. Nero, I'd like to thank you not only for the birthday wishes, but for the link you sent me to the Michigan State University study entitled "Good Sex May Threaten Older Men's Heart Health." Thank you very much for that. I'll read that sometime in the future when I'm old.
I didn't really want to be worried about that, but now I am.
But it does say good sex. So I guess if you're having just
Pew.
horrible sex
Crisis avoided.
on your own or with somebody else, I guess you're fine. You're just as healthy.
Nero doesn't want you to die. I think it's touching.
That is kind.
I think it's kind.
Some people are kind like that. Oh, well, speaking of kind, this is a shocking story, really. A hairdresser in Alabama was offered a teaching job at a cosmetology school, but the offer was reportedly rescinded after the school board discovered, dun dun dun,
Gay hairdresser
he
story?
was gay.
What?
And I'm going to show you a picture. Now, I don't know if his picture
I got to get my surprise face
was
ready.
on his resume. There he is. Salon owner Jason Johnson decided to apply for a cosmetology instructor
Is
position.
that a bird on his head?
No, it's just highlights.
I feel like it's where the bird sits.
He
Like it's the
decided
nest.
There's just something behind. It's a blow dryer behind it, but it looks like there's a creature on his head.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Actually, I can show you another. This story is, this picture. If we go, he's actually. Scale to
I
fit.
feel like wasn't he on Drag Race at one point?
He's sitting with somebody's being interviewed. He's in the salon there.
Salon.
Very busy. Anyway, he applied for the position at Lamar County School of Technology and was quickly offered the job. He turned down other work after accepting the role, but on the evening before he was supposed to start the new job, he received a call from a member of the school board informing him that they were taking the offer off the table due to his lifestyle. Johnson's attorney, Daniel Borman, claims that someone took a photo from his client's Facebook page to a board meeting and then outed him, causing them to change their minds. Based on that picture, they said that that's not the type of person that they would like to hire. And based on that, meaning someone gay, he was not, therefore, hired for the job. Johnson, well, I'm going to get through with the story, and then you can have your 2 points. Johnson says that with a certification to teach and over a decade experience in the industry, he was definitely the most qualified applicant for the job, and in fact, was the only applicant for the job. In a Facebook post after the incident, Johnson declares it may be time to relocate. I think I'm going to quit trying here in the South and just move. That's what they want you to do. Don't let the bastards win. Adding that he wouldn't take the job now, or the knob, even if they reversed their decision, because he'd fear retaliation and would have to therefore live in fear and always look over his shoulder. Alabama is another one of these lovely states that has no specific workplace discrimination protections for LGBT people, and this is another example of the importance of introducing Federal Equality Act to prevent future cases of discrimination. Kat Carlson, the floor is yours.
Well, 2 things.
Yeah, strangely.
Number 1, what year is it? It's a lifestyle again? What happened?
It's a lifestyle.
What happened?
You choose it.
I thought we went all the way around that and beyond it.
No. In the South, they like to hold on to shit. I mean, that Confederate flag, my God, they're holding on.
And your second point?
It's not just the South.
You better have 2.
Yeah.
If you're going to say 2, you better have 2.
Sometimes I have 4. Like, it all averages out.
No, it has to start at 2. I don't care if you have 4. You can go up, but you have to have a minimum. There has to be a baseline.
Well, my other point...
Well, good luck for them finding a straight hairdresser. That really is in some cases.
Yeah, my other thing was to ask you to recap what state it was, but now I see it was Alabama, so that was my other thing. But this isn't just the South, people. Like, it's everywhere. Sure. It's where, you know what I mean? It's internationally too, but nationally it's happening. Indiana is another one that's trying to pass good old bathroom laws again.
Mike Pence just can't help himself.
Just can't help himself. Just worried. But, facts don't mean anything. The fact that no one's being attacked in public restrooms, the fact that trans people are just using the bathroom that they want to use right now anyway, or they're peeing on your car.
I certainly don't
Let's be
recall
honest.
there being a lot of issues with this before. Like, before it was brought up and people started losing their mind. Been happening for years.
Been happening for a long time.
Nobody ever knew.
And aside from the occasional dirty look,
right.
I've not had any trouble.
And not even a transgendered
trans.
person. You just get a dirty look because they think you're Justin Bieber walking into the girls' room.
Why is that little boy in here? Where's his mom?
Yeah.
There's a
That's when you can use that line. You can suck my dick.
Suck my dick.
There's a really I can't remember.
I've offered more than once to prove it.
Wow.
I can't remember if it's a movie or a TV show where the one character pretends to be gay, and because he's a hairdresser, and he's like, who wants to go to a straight hairdresser, and he doesn't want the women think he's hitting on him because he's seen Shampoo, the movie Shampoo with Warren Beatty, and it was like really funny as they're like trying to set him up with men, and he has to keep the thing going, and I
feel like I remember that.
I don't know, but it sounds like a lovely plot.
Yeah, so but it's one of those things that it's a stereotype, but it exists. And who are you going to find? Like, how is that where you're going to discriminate? Like, yes, there are straight. Of course, there are straight hairdressers and stuff like that. But
there was an older movie at one point where the hairdresser was as gay as Christmas. Everybody knew it. And it was an older guy.
Stuck in the Closet, 2008. Joey comes up with an idea that the only way to be respected as a hairstylist in Beverly Hills is to pretend to be gay.
Okay.
This is I'm thinking of an older TV show or something where the hairdresser was clearly gay, and the person was trying to set him up, and finally came out. He goes, "Look," and though it was flaming gay, he swore to God he was straight, and that was the whole funny thing of the whole show.
There's a show on, it's either Lifetime or the Learning Channel, one of those atrocities, where they're celebrating, like it's a really gay father and a wife.
Oh, you've talked about this before, haven't you?
The daughter, and they're it's awful. Maybe it's called Sweet 16 or something like that.
I swear you've talked about this
God,
before.
I've seen bits of it at work because people have it on in the break room, and I'm like, that is just the worst.
You've talked about something to do with this where and we looked at pictures. I think we've had a picture up here, and we're like, That's a straight father? What?
Yeah, I can't think what that show is, but it's just
It sounds terrible.
So we do have. I think we should put this in the headline because I don't want to sully entertainment with it.
All right.
But longtime anti-feminist
Oh, this bitch.
who was also a college graduate, a lawyer, and ran for Congress, possibly the Senate, and was anti-feminism while reaping all the benefits of said
Yeah.
feminism. Phyllis Schlafly, just cunt. Really, it's what the word was meant for.
She's been holding back women's movement forever.
She died, specifically women's movement, has died at her home in St. Louis at 92. Conservative icon, long history of opposing women's rights, equal pay, abortion, and the Equal Rights Amendment. And one of her big fucking things was that she might have, there was one small point that she may have been making about older women, who I'm sure would have been grandfathered in, not getting their Social Security benefits for a deceased husband. That may have been excluded, that older women who had never worked or made the choice not to work wouldn't receive survivor benefits. That was one of the things she brought up that could have possibly fallen in there. It
can
could
see
have
how that
had
could have
merit.
gone that
I'm
way.
sure that's something that could have been a finer point that could have been argued out. But that was one of her things. But the other thing was she didn't want women serving in the military in any capacity.
Harrison has no opinion on this.
Yeah. So, blaming the Violence Against Women Act for broken marriages. So here are 15 quotes from the cunty Schlafly and her philosophy on women. Blaming the Violence Against Women Act for broken marriages. Her quote, "When marriages are broken by false allegations of domestic violence, U.S. taxpayers fork up an estimated $20 billion a year to support the resulting single-parent, welfare-dependent families." So she's worried about false accusations of abuse, of women claiming making false accusations against her husband. She's not worried about the women that are actually being abused in entrapped relationships and finding ways for them to get out. She's doing the voter fraud thing of let's go with the one case anyone's ever heard of out of millions and side with that person to the detriment of the rest. She just gets cuntier with every minute. What feminism means. Her quote, "And the first commandment of feminism is, I am woman, thou shalt not tolerate strange gods who assert that women have capabilities or often choose roles that are different from men's." What?
It was nuts. I watched the whole documentary on the CNN about her. The whole 70s, the women's movement. She was focused in that, and
Right, and but they made some salient points about the degradation of the housewife, as like they were kind of putting the housewife down.
Sure.
That you should go out and get a job. You're making the wrong choices by staying home with your kids. They weren't doing it from both sides of the aisle, and there was a backlash to it from the people that chose to stay home and be housewives and doing hard work. Like, that is hard work. There was no way to make that not. That was the interesting argument. This shit is not. I just don't even understand that quote. Sexual harassment isn't a big deal. Her quote, "Non-criminal sexual harassment on the job is not a problem for the virtuous woman, except in the rarest of cases." So the burden of sexual harassment now goes on the woman, that she needs to be virtuous. So as long as she can hold, you know what I mean? So is that like right up until he violates you in some way? Like where does your virtue come into the sexual harassment? Here, this one's fun. "It's really dangerous for a guy to go to college these days. He's better off if he doesn't talk to any women when he gets there. The feminists are perfectly glad to make false accusations and then claim all men are capable of some dastardly deed like rape." From her article, this keeps refreshing and I don't know why. The name of this article is the best part of this. "Hatred of men gave rise to the University of Virginia rape story." This was in 2014. Like this
it's
is
an older
old
story.
shit. This bitch has been active. She just recently endorsed Trump, to the horror of the Republican establishment.
yeah, she did.
"By getting married, the woman has consented to sex, and I don't think you can call it rape." This was in 2007. This is her response. And I think either Anant or Amina was talking last year about marital rape cases being decided in the country. So, yeah. Like, no, women have no rights in these stories. Like, the minute you succumb to God or the marriage, you have no
You're
control
property.
of you're just property. You're
We're
just
just
chattel. We're just chattel at this point. ERA means abortion funding, means homosexual privileges, means whatever else. This was in 1999. This was 25 years after the ERA failed. That's hers. Men should stop treating feminists like ladies and instead treat them like the men they say they want to be. Talk about I did not understand the lesson.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't get the memo.
Every country that has experimented with women in actual combat has abandoned the idea, and the notion that Israel uses women in combat is a feminist myth. There's a couple different countries that use women in combat. There is a war on men, and feminists are very open about it. They don't conceal it, they brag about it. You read all of their material, they're always saying they want to abolish the patriarchy. They say that husbands are not necessary in a marriage and they're not necessarily in raising children. December 2014. Sex education classes are like in-home sales parties for abortions.
Wow.
Oh, you could buy some Princess House. You could buy some Tupperware.
So
you
here's
could
some.
have an
These ones didn't make the
abortion.
greatest hits. They're just here.
Wonder what the return
The
is on
atomic
that.
bomb is a marvelous gift that was given to our country by a wise God. What the fuck?
Wow. She was
Minors are
off.
an intended audience for a highly profitable sex industry. Impressionable teenagers are easily persuaded to have abortions, and homosexual clubs in high schools are designed for the young. Well, who else is going to be at a high school homosexual club?
Younger people.
If it's
Hopefully
older people,
younger
you're
people.
at NAMBLA. Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully, younger people.
People think that child support enforcements benefit children, but it doesn't.
Say that again?
People think that child support enforcement, like getting dads to pay child support, benefits children. According to Miss Shafley,
It doesn't.
it doesn't. So in 92, and I always forget if it's not Huckabee. It's Pat Robertson gave his speech. I think it was 92. It might have been 96. One of the most horrible speeches until last Wednesday of just outright disdain for a group of people. And it had made the press. It was just horrible to watch, and it really did kind of guarantee Clinton as our next president. Was the speech by, I'm pretty sure it was Pat Robertson. So, and all of her anti-gay stuff at the time, because the fight then was for funding for AIDS. It was Clinton had talked about the gays in the military, had talked about AIDS research during the campaign, so it became very left and right. That's kind of when the shift took place of, like, we were talking about it openly, and Democrats and Republicans chose sides on the gay aisles. And Phyllis Schlafly was around and talking, and she was at every convention until I think this was the first one that she wasn't able to attend, or she may have been there. I can't remember which. One of the little gay rags outed her son, and he said, I don't want anyone to think I'm ashamed. I don't want people are misinterpreting what's going on with the Republican Party. They're very supportive of gays. Well, not all the time. And, like, it's really fun. So the LA Times picked it up in summer, maybe August of 92. The LA Times picked up the story of outing her son, and she kind of piped down on a lot of issues then. That was kind of when her national prominence went away. So
Got tarnished a little bit.
yeah, so that was always my favorite thing, was that Phyllis Schlafly, Lord of Lies and Mother of Hate, also had a gay kid. So all of her blaming of, gays can't have children, they'll raise them gay. And she was the starter of all that stuff. That was her doing. And the
What, did Anita Bryant get it from her?
No, Anita Bryant started it, but she's the one that was more political. Anita Bryant kind of went away fast. She had her run in the 70s, but Phyllis Schlafly she wasn't just a Miss America selling orange juice. She was a lawyer. She was part of the Republican Party. She had run for office. She was a best-selling. She's written like 17 books or something.
And guess when her last book came out?
Like minutes ago.
Yeah, today.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Literally released today.
I knew.
And it's about something about, again, why Trump
Yeah.
is fantastic or some bullshit.
But she she walked blazingly into the ERA thing when 25 states out of, I think we need 36 to ratify. They were almost there, and she started writing articles and campaigning against it. They got to 30 or 31, and then 5 because of her rescinded their adoption of the amendment. So she is the main reason that there was not an equal rights amendment for women. This cunt,
Well, now maybe we can get some
who took
action
advantage
on
of
that.
everything else.
Maybe. Yeah, my favorite meme had her picture, and it said, made a career out of arguing against careers for women.
Yeah.
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 Irony?
Yeah. So Phyllis, wherever you are in hell, you can suck my dick.
Enjoy that. Yeah, in fact, I'm looking forward to watching. Rachel was doing a segment tonight on her because she had recently done a big one with regards to her because, again, everything she was against, yada, yada, yada. And then she showed up at Trump's, one of his things several weeks ago. Yeah, just to hold back your own people. Makes more sense. But you making a comment about her having a gay son makes me think of our former governor here in Arizona, Jan Brewer, gay grandson. Never wanted to talk about him. Never brought it up.
And Barry Goldwater, when we were doing the equal rights, the anti-discrimination stuff in the 90s, and I went with Mike and Darren. We went to sit at the city council meeting because they were small business owners. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time that I had ever heard that unleash of religious vileness at me. I had never sat there and listened to that kind of awfulness. And then Barry Goldwater's grandson showed up, and everybody was like, "Ooh, we're gonna have a Goldwater conservative in here to back up this argument." And he was gay, and just called them all out. And he was like kind of a plant from the right side of that. But that was the first thing I had ever seen. And then Barry Goldwater's. And then Barry Goldwater, before he died, changed his stance on a lot of things because he was a horrible motherfucker that we should not have. Things should not be named after him in Arizona.
Oh, no, I always think about that when I go to the airport because one of our terminals is the Barry Goldwater. I think it's Terminal 4 is the Barry Goldwater terminal.
And just a rotten motherfucker. But to the horror of the Republican Party, he took back most of the shit that he was spewing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Republicans, this is going to be a great story. The Republican mayor of Midland City, Alabama, got nasty on Facebook after losing her seat to a black candidate in this week's mayoral election. This was actually a couple-week-old story. Her post was, quote, "I lost and the N-word won." But she didn't use N-word. Here is what her post looked like on Facebook. "Patsy, this is Dawn. How's the election going?
Oh, Jesus.
I lost. The N-word won. Oh, I'm so sorry." That literally was on Facebook, and there was a screenshot of it. So Skipper, she was griping Mayor Patsy Capshaw Skipper when someone asked her how the election had turned out. Skipper was defeated by Joanne Bennett Grimsley, former assistant city clerk and an employee of the Dale County government for over 27 years. She has previously served as the city's water clerk and the county court clerk. Mayor Skipper was named interim mayor last February when her husband, former mayor Virgil Skipper, had retired for health reasons. Well, county officials voted 3-1 for Patsy Skipper to take over her husband's position.
Take that down.
However, I was going to show you a lovely picture of this lovely lady. Voters, however, preferred that Grimsley be at the city helm, casting 233 votes against 148. So she got ousted. Just got her ass handed to her, basically. Skipper appears to have made her Facebook timeline private, but posts from 2015 are visible. She posts various pro-Christian, pro-Republican memes, including an image of the White House that reads, "I want a White House that honors God, share if you agree," and other crap like that. But yeah, she just put it right out there that she was not happy about who beat her. But clearly the public knew better.
Jesus.
These people are still around.
Well, I don't know if it's Beavis or Butthead, which one of the Trump sons, went on and did a real interview. Like, this is not from The Onion, and he said one of the reasons his father ran for president was because last year the Obamas rolled out a holiday tree, not a Christmas tree. And it wasn't true.
Right.
And they, ran the tape of it, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know. That's what we heard."
So we heard? You didn't vet that?
And you're like, what? Like, in a nation that trips over Santa Claus to get to the reindeer on your way to the elf.
I do love me some Santa.
Trips over Santa Claus in July.
Right.
As long as he's white.
And because Santa just is white.
But, I mean, I know I jumped the gun. We haven't even had one pumpkin spice latte, and I'm already on the war on Christmas. But I had to get there.
It started today.
Santa just is
Today's
white.
pumpkin spice day.
Oh, it is. I saw. Yes.
Yeah.
Santa just is white.
That's good. Thank you, Kelly.
Amina, I agree with you. There's she's thinking social media should have a "do you really want to post this" option on accounts with more than 1,000 followers, and a breathalyzer would probably not be a bad
that's
idea.
probably a good idea too.
Because
yeah.
I am known for my 2 a.m. after this show
Or if certain
drunken posts that the next morning I'm
Or-
like, "Oh God, you're a douche."
Delete that.
Or maybe Facebook should have certain words flagged that pictures. Some pictures you post, not necessarily on Facebook, but other online things, they have to go through some sort of an approval process. So maybe if it has certain words in it, maybe we should have that checked.
Believe it or not, I don't know, some users might remember, but AOL, remember AOL?
I do.
Remember the AOL,
He
the
still has
magic that was?
It's still my email.
I know. Do you remember the magic that was the AOL chat room?
I do.
Do you remember how they would put little asterisks every time you wanted to curse your face off unless it was a private chat room? Perhaps
I do,
Facebook
vaguely.
could institute some sort of just overall, just slight censoring.
And as far as I'm concerned,
Minor.
whether you say N5 asterisks or the actual word, I know what you meant.
Well, sure.
Right.
But maybe there
Like
could be a
you're-
stop. Maybe there just could be a little
Well,
stop.
but then again, it goes back to what we've said before.
Hey,
I would actually would
did
rather
you
you wear.
mean-
I would actually rather you wear your bigotry on your sleeve. So I'd rather you post it and not be restrained, because that way I know.
Oh,
It's
and
like if you're gonna hate gays, you're not gonna let the gays
Well,
come get a
that's true,
cake at
too.
your store. Just put a shingle out. I'll
we-
know to go around your store.
And we've talked about this in 100 different manners, but the overt versus covert, racism, homophobia, ignorance. I want you to put the sign on the window that says no gays allowed. Like, so that way I can just walk by. I don't want to go
That's what I'm
in,
saying.
think I'm enjoying your business, and then find out you have this quiet disdain. I like it better when I knew it, because then I had a little respect for you. Then just say it outright.
I like to know the sandwich I'm buying. Part of that money is not going to go to your church that does everything it can to stop gays
Like,
from
maybe
everything.
you put the
No.
Confederate flag on something you own. We're just probably not going to get along.
probably
yeah,
not
we're
going to.
probably going to be fine.
I'm probably going to cross the street.
Yeah.
But it's a choice I made. You made your choice clear. I made my choice based on it, and everybody's happy. We will never conflict.
I really should find a way to dispose of my Confederate
But
flag.
do you really have one?
I really have one. Yeah, it was.
Now, does it have some sort of a historic reference, or is it just
no, it was in poor taste at a white trash party.
Okay,
And it,
all
I
right.
mean, it
Which
made
is the right place to bring it.
it made the entrance that I wanted to make, because I cranked up the Ozzy Osbourne. I climbed in the back of my pickup truck. I had my girlfriend drive it down the street while we were waking up the neighbors while I was waving the fucking flag. It was amazing.
Yeah, you got the context.
got it?
Yeah,
Well,
made two little kids cry down the block.
if I'm having if I have a fire this
One
winter,
of them said, "You can
the-
suck my dick,
Oh.
lady."
if I have a fire this winter,
Sir
you're
or
welcome
ma'am.
to bring it over, and if you'd like to burn it in my, because actually I have a bunch of flags that I need to burn, because that's how you can dispose of American flags. If you there's a ceremony you do and blah blah blah, or you can take them to the
Do I have to do the rain
VA?
dance around the?
we could just for fun you can. You take it to the what would you call
Foreign
it?
Legion.
Is it the Foreign Legion?
The
or
VFW?
VFW. You can take them there. Now, that's American flags. I don't know about that one. But,
I don't know either.
I would assume that some sort of a ceremony and a burning would be
Dear
justification.
Google.
Because I haven't.
Let's call Ann Coulter.
Oh yes,
See
and
how-
what would you do?
See how she disposes of hers.
Well, she would probably give us a packing slip and have it mail it to her.
Dear Ann Coulter,
Can we play the clips from?
I have an American.
I don't know if we
flag,
can, because I'm afraid they will nail us for copyright on that. I'm afraid that they will, because that's pretty blatant on
But
that.
it's not a song. I don't know how they'd find it. Like, we read them all.
Spoken word. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I've got two. No, this is my final story. A man identifying as a sovereign citizen resisted arrest when police stopped his truck and attempted to reach for a gun. A news release from Slidell Police says. According to the release, officers initiated a traffic stop after they saw a green Ford Ranger truck violating several traffic laws on Fremont Avenue. The driver, James Doyle Webb of Bay St. Louis. I've never heard of Bay St. Louis. Oh, I'm sorry, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, my bad, told officers that he was a sovereign citizen and ignored their request to see his driver's license, registration, and insurance. Instead, asking for the officer's name and badge numbers, the release says. After providing their names and badge numbers, the officers again requested Webb's documentation, which he again refused to produce. Webb instead took out a small notepad and wrote he was a free traveler and not required to give any of the officers any information because they did not have legal authority over him. The officers noticed Webb reaching toward a bag sitting next to him in the front seat, and according to the release, the officers felt Webb may have been reaching for something such as a weapon and ordered him out of his truck. Now, instead, Webb tried to roll his window up. The officers prevented the window from going up, and after a brief struggle, removed him from the truck and arrested him. A loaded .40 caliber Hecker and Koch handgun was later found that Webb was reaching for. Now, the only identification that he handed them was this. Now, this is kind of funny. Constitutional Protection Travel Identification. James Webb, self-aware. Living man on the land, care of, yada, 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 Bay St. Louis. zip code exempt, non-domestic male, and I like the date of birth. Date of birth. Hearsay. I don't know where in the hell he decided to come up with this whole thing. Well, that's the picture that they have of him there. But then when they arrested him, he was a little less happy. This picture from the jail, he just doesn't look quite as happy. A little sad face.
That's when you find out there's no more pudding.
Wow. I never thought of it like that. No more wah wah.
Yeah.
Pudding is delicious.
No,
You can't fuck it up no
we do
matter where
enjoy-
you are.
You do enjoy the pudding. There's no doubt.
Skin, no skin. It's an invalid argument.
I do enjoy pudding.
In breaking news.
Oh my God, there's breaking.
Well, it's not breaking, but I just did a little investigation.
Well, you enjoy that.
If your Confederate flag gets a smell in it that you just can't Febreze out, or it starts looking too gnarly to honor all of the fallen heroes of the Confederacy, it may be time to replace it. Before you staple up your new Confederate flag to the fake wood paneling of your basement, you will need to properly dispose of the old flag.
Oh, this is good. This
I
is
know,
good.
this is educational.
It is. I feel
My
good.
favorite part. I like
all
when
the
we
people
educate
in
all the
Nairobi,
people.
Kenya will be happy to hear how they can do this.
It is important you give the Confederate flag the respect it deserves during the disposal. There's an 8-step plan.
Oh, it is.
8 steps.
We got time.
Number 1, rake all the animal waste you can find in your yard into a pile and place the old Confederate flag over it.
Okay.
Stomp and grind dog, cat, and pig shit into the Confederate flag. Number 2.
I have a feeling that these aren't the real
Number 2.
ways to do it.
Wad up the Confederate flag into a shit-smeared ball and place it in a trash bag.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, drive the trash bag to any statue honoring a general or political leader of the Confederacy.
Oh.
That seems honorable. That seems historical.
Okay.
Luckily, hard to find here in
Historical.
Arizona.
Right, it
hard
is
to
kind of
find
hard
here.
to find.
I'm
We
gonna
are
have to
the
go
s-
road trip.
Well, we are the Southwest, not the South.
Right.
Though some people confuse that.
You know, I've already been on a road trip with Al Perkins, and it was delightful. So I feel like we should.
I
go
feel like
again.
Mississippi's like 7 blocks away.
Great, good. He's so good on geography.
It's just on the other side of the 10. Make a
Yeah,
right.
it
All right.
Pass IKEA.
Drive trash bag to any statue honoring a general. Number 4, remove the shitty flag from the garbage bag and cover the head of the monument with the flag.
Oh,
Douse both. Number 5, douse both in gasoline or kerosene.
either one.
Dealer's choice.
Kerosene travels better than gasoline.
Number 6 is in 2 parts. A, light, and 2,
Run.
step back.
Listeners, safety first.
Yes, always. When burning a flag that's got shit
Safety
in it.
first.
Safety
Step
first.
back. Number 7, if any pieces of the Confederate flag break loose while the flag is burning, it is important that you track them down and extinguish them with piss to prevent the fire spreading to anything useful.
So wasn't step like 1A, drink a lot of water to be
Should-
ready
right,
for
to be
spontaneous
ready for
pissing?
later fire extinguishing.
That may have been earlier in the article. And finally, number 8, once the Confederate flag is completely consumed, speak appropriate words of thanks to President Abraham Lincoln, General William Tecumseh Sherman, and General Ulysses S. Grant for saving the nation and the world from the cowardly traitors of the Confederate. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah blah
And there it
blah
is.
blah. Oh, Brazil is listening. Hi, Brazil.
Brazil.
Now
Hi,
Brazil is
Brazil.
educated on how to dispose of
Hi,
their
Louise.
Confederate flag.
Louise from Brazil. I believe.
Sometimes, a bases, if you will. My urine has a pretty high alcohol content, leading to more flames.
Little known fact.
Oh, I see that here in the frequently asked questions. It says always designate a designated driver.
Ah,
Oh, well, again, safety
Smart.
first. That's really.
Safety.
Is there a hard hat involved or any of this stuff? I wonder if
No.
you have to wear no.
No,
Vest.
there was no safety gear
Maybe one of those
recommended.
one of those ghillie suits you have to wear. I would think you probably own a ghillie suit or ghillie, whatever that thing was called, and you have one of those.
Maybe.
You wear your suit to the
I could.
shit storm.
that way no one will see you.
Oh, it's good.
Fancy.
There was a flame, but we don't know who said it.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't tell.
Move like the wind.
Prayers mean so much.
My prayers for more tacos last week were answered in multiple ways.
In
So
his
nice.
unfolded.
You had
hand.
tacos. We had tacos.
Taco trucks on every corner.
Every one of them. That
I
would be
believe in
Oh.
Jesus.
Of course you do, and of course you know.
that 2-day meme stream was amazing.
It was possible. Oh God, you gotta play. Oh God, we gotta find it.
What?
Take a dance break. We gotta find the guy that does the interview with him, the gay
dance
guy.
breaks are 30 seconds.
We'll find it fast.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
He knows.
What's his name? Something
All
Bobby.
right, you play entertainment. I'll read the headlines while you find it. How about that? Are you done with headlines?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
Would you like to do your entertainment stuff?
Yeah, and then you do.
And I want to play the. Oh, we already did it. Sorry, I was gonna play the Death Game jingle song while you were talking about Phyllis, but
Oh,
too
she's
late.
still dead.
Too late.
And we don't want. I mean, the Death Den is a lovely place to be. We don't
It's a
want to.
very
No,
fun
but it was
time.
lovely for her to die.
Yeah, it was. Good times.
It's on. There was this. Here we go.
Entertainment. My heart's not in it. Barbra Streisand scores her 11th #1 album. You can look forward to a new album from Taylor Swift based on recent events. Kelly Ripa's back. We have a Broadway closing. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. A show to tell you about in case you haven't watched it, and you should. And a documentary that I saw last week that was kind of creepy. And Stranger Things Season 2 details have been let out. So we're going to start with this documentary that was on CNN last week, if anybody saw it. And I think it premiered at, maybe Sundance or whatever the March one is. It's called Holy Hell, because I'm all about the cults.
Found it.
And it is about a...
Oh no, I meant to tape it. Did I miss it, or they'll reshow?
Yeah, they'll reshow it. A cult that started in California with smart, beautiful, healthy people. It was like not your usual cult things. They were founded by a former porn star actor who was all about spirituality and group living and all these things. And again, from this new era that we're in, where everything is on film, the man that is the filmmaker of this particular documentary and a former member of this cult, he had been the film historian for the last 20 some years that he was in the cult. He was in from the mid 80s until 2004, 2005. I think it was 22 years he was in. And all these years later, all these people that have since left the cult, some are still in. Now they're based out of Hawaii. They follow them and find them later. Really, really interesting to see the appeal of people that would be didn't really see you as a cult member. Successful business people that would pick up and none of these people seemed particularly desperate or
cuckoo,
or they had shit going on, and yet they still fell under this spell of all these beautiful people. And the weird part, the thing that, because every cult has to have something that makes them weird, is that this guy was a trained dancer. And so he got a lot of dancers, and he would do these elaborate ballets that they would rehearse for an entire year and perform, but only for themselves. So there was no one in the audience but the people that helped build the costumes and the sets, and they were very elaborate ballets, and famous ballet dancers ended up in this cult. And it's craziness. And it's called Holy Hell. It's out on, if it's not out on video yet, it will be. I think they struck a deal with CNN like they did with Blackfish, where CNN helps support it so they get to show it a couple times before it comes out on video. But it's really interesting, and the fact that they, even though that was just past the era of all the cults and we're only a couple years past all that weird stuff in the 70s, they all just laugh it off as people suggest this is a cult, right? And the one, there's a brother and two sisters that joined together, and I think the brother is the filmmaker, and his parents were I guess we gotta let them do this. I mean, it's no real harm. They're not experimenting with huge amounts of drugs or not hurting anybody. They just live in this weird way, and their kids disappeared for 22 years. And when the kids were okay, we are so sorry. That was totally a fucking nuts way to spend 22 years. And it's just, it really, and to see the guy that ran it and the appeal, and there was all kinds of plastic surgery and forcing people to change their look to fit more in, but they were very healthy. He was all about exercise and eating right, and there was no alcohol, there was no drugs, there was no sex, but of course there was drugs, alcohol, and sex.
How could there
It was the Olympic Village as well.
Right. Officially, no, but everywhere. So really interesting if you get a chance to see it.
Huh. It feels like the next too far step, occasionally in your life, you've probably been drunk with a group of friends that you greatly enjoy, and someone suggests that, we should all just, save on expenses and go live in a big compound.
Right.
Or
yeah.
it may be specific to lesbians, because I feel like lesbians say that a lot. But it feels like just that step just a little too far. It went from, hey, we make a great family, let's all live close to each other, to crazy town.
Yeah, and like one like the sister brought in her brother and sister, and she was like this big member, and I mean there's stories about rape and all this. It just gets really ugly. But one kid brings in his elderly aunt. So whenever you see the pictures, it's this strikingly young, beautiful crowd, and then one old lady. And you're just like, I need to know more about her. And at the end, they're like, well, Charles left with, but still cares for his elderly aunt. Because he was, I guess he had to take care of her. So he's like, well, I'm kind of in a cult, so I guess she's got to come with me.
Come on, Nana.
So, I mean, it's
Auntie, we're joining a cult.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
but
get in
it's
the car.
called Holy Hell, and it was just fascinating. I watched it
I
last
did
week when
wanna
I was
watch
on
that.
call. Yeah. Let's go to tape. So, and let's get to this straight. So, Jersey Boys will be ending its Broadway run. The show that should not be anywhere near as good as it is, or have run as long as it has, will be ending its run on January 15th, 2017, after 4,642 shows. It will be the 12th longest Broadway show in history. It debuted in La Jolla, California in 2004. It is the story of Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. It's one of those shows that you kind of are like grit your teeth and you're like, I guess I'll go see that. My mother wants to see it, or whoever, like
Yeah.
the aunt that isn't quite in the cult yet wants something to do, so we got to go see it. And then you go, and it's really effective and very good. It's a very good story told with music, and the music is not they don't try to make the story fit the songs like they do in Mamma Mia.
Right.
They don't back their way
Which
into a
bothers me.
story.
Yeah.
They just tell the story of Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, and they put in the music where it happened.
Where it was appropriate.
To just punctuate a moment, and the music is really good because it's Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, and then Frankie Valli solo, and tells their story in really an ugly look. I think the guy's name is Tommy, that was like one of the producers of the show. So his life gets a little bit more of a closer scrutiny and kind of an ugly look, but he agreed to help them, so he provided he's the person you're like, well, they're really shitting on that guy, which I thought was kind of brave. Like usually you would think that would be the hero of the story or something, but no, he went the other way with it.
No, Jersey Boys was actually my gateway drug into the new musicals, because I kind of grew up with the classic musical movies. You know what I mean? Those were always on cable, and Mom watched those Saturdays and Sundays all the time. And then there was just kind of that lull where I was just a heathen child and drinking all the time anyway. Aww. And I know, sad. And then Jersey Boys went around, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Hey, I want to go see this. I've heard good things about it." And I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, you're like, oh, really?
Really?
That?
But I was gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucked me right in. I was like, "Hi,
yeah,
I love you."
And one of the things that just I got all emotional listening to is when they did "Who Loves You, Who Loves You, Pretty Woman," and all of a sudden I just thought of my sisters and the clock radio in my sister's room, and like sitting in there and hearing that song, and how all of us would kind of like, "Who loves you? Who's gonna love you?" You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden I could just imagine being a little kid and being like, "God, this is a good fucking song." You know what I mean? As everybody kind of like stopped talking and sang along, and then like, "And you were saying, so she's a bitch."
And that was one of the things that sucked me in. I was like, "Wait a minute, I love all of this music."
Yeah. And then they had gone along with a certain amount of instruments and everything, and then they get to oh
my God.
And so just as it's about to start, I looked at the person I was singing with, and I'm like, oh, they have not had a horn section for this whole show. Do not even tell me that we're going to do.
Walking across
and then
the
they
balcony.
just come walking across the top of the stage, this horn section just going nuts. Because you know that it's coming. Like, you're like, well, you can't do this with a synthesizer. This has to be real horns. And they've been quite, like, they haven't played a horn the entire night. And all of a sudden, just the horns come across the back. And my nipples got hard. And I was like, oh, you got me, Jersey Boys. You got me good.
You can't help it. Your eyes tear up a little bit. Your goosebumps jump up. Yeah.
And then, as they tell the story. So that's closing. And in a long run, for a jukebox musical that's a little better than it should be, the movie is another one of those transitions to the movies where they kind of made a clunker. It's all there. They didn't do anything offensive, but it, kind of the producer's movie. It just lands flat most of the time. The only thing in the producers that works is the Springtime for Hitler brought to beautiful life
Yes.
really just goes nuts. And in this one, it really just is missing something because you're like, just play a documentary about Frankie Valli. Like, anyways, let's see. Chart Watch tells us that Miss Barbra Streisand has her 11th #1 album. Encore's Movie Partners. She sings Broadway, enters the Billboard 200 in the top spot. It beats out Florida Georgia Line and Britney Spears for the #1 spot, and a big surprise because they were really pushing Britney pretty hard. She has the longest span of #1 albums in chart history, just shy of 52 years. 1964 with People, so not her debut album as many people think. It was not her Grammy-winning debut album. Only 3 other artists have had 11 or more #1 albums: the Beatles 19, Jay-Z 13, and Bruce Springsteen 11. Streisand expands her lead over Madonna as the female artist with the most #1 albums. Madonna has 8. Madonna has twice come within 1 album of catching Streisand, but Streisand just keeps putting out albums,
And she
which I
should.
love.
Until Madonna stops, so Streisand will always be up there.
Yeah. This is Streisand's second studio album in a row to reach #1. She also topped the chart with 2014's Partners. It's only the second time in her long career that she's reached #1 with back-to-back albums. She first accomplished this with 93's Back to Broadway and 97's Higher Ground. Do not buy that album. It's terrible. Fair warned.
Good to know.
Second
Barbara
oldest.
appreciates your support.
Yeah, she's the second oldest artist to ever notch a #1 album in the U.S. Tony Bennett was 85. She's 74. She's now had more #1 albums in the 2010s than she did in the 2000s or the 1960s. Isn't that crazy? That like this is the decade of Barbra Streisand in her 70s.
With all that she's done.
Yeah. She's had a #1 album in every decade since the 60s. She had 1 in the 60s, 3 in the 70s, 2 in the 80s, 2 in the 90s, 1 in the 2000s, and now 2 in this decade.
Wow. One of my favorite albums of hers still is the Broadway album.
Oh, yeah.
My grandmother, for some reason, got it, and then she was playing it in the house, and I don't know how old I was at the time, but I just fell in love with the album. And I actually have it in there, the vinyl, because my grandmother didn't need it after a while because she wasn't there. And then I inherited a lot of the albums that they had, the big old sets of, whatever the hell they were, big like 5 album sets of all this other crap, big band music and country stuff they had and all this. But one of them was that album, and I loved that. That and Lush Life from
Linda
Ronstadt. Grandma loved that.
Oh, that was gorgeous. That's
Beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the Broadway album, still one of my favorite albums of all time. It's frequently on heavy rotation in my house, my car, my travels.
Your neighbors hate you.
And she does wonderful things. It's where she took Stephen Sondheim aside and told him, "You're pretty good, Steve, but let's change some lyrics." And she perfected Where Are the Clowns. She took what is one of the best songs in the American catalog and told him that as an actress, repeating yourself makes no sense. And there's more that you could tell of that story. And it comes from a little night music. It comes from a very specific scene where a man has been chasing a woman for years. She finally turns to him and says, "All right, yes, I do love you back. Let's do this." And he's like, "I moved on." So that's the whole thing about there ought to be clowns and losing my timing this late in her career. Like, she's finally ready to tell the man that's been pursuing her for years that she loves him. And he's like, "Nope, sorry, I left." And she's like, she's older. She's kind of a has-been. She's not the star that she once was. She was relying on this affair with this man that's been her constant companion. And when he says, "Not at all," and she just has to do this is kind of funny, isn't it? Like, there's got to be humor here somewhere. So
don't bother, they're already here.
So if you've seen a little night music and what she did to it, like how she didn't do it, but she convinced him, like, look at that scene again and don't make her repeat herself. Like, give her a second verse, and it's just brilliant the way that he does it and fits it into, still in context for the show, but he makes some other changes too. But that's the one that always struck me as like one of those songs that send in the
now I have to go back and listen to it because I never knew that story.
Oh yeah.
Now I have to go back and listen.
And she called him and said, like, as an actress, it makes no sense, and this scene is so rich with possibilities for this female character, and you make her sing the same thing twice. Like, why would you do that? So it's very good. So, and this is the latest Broadway album, arrives in what has been a very strong year for Broadway. 2 Broadway albums, Hamilton and Sarah Bareilles' What's Inside, Song from Waitress, have made the top 10 in the past year. And So it's kind of a big deal that the old lady's still getting it done. But if you haven't, one of my favorite show tunes of all time is "At the Ballet," one of the most evocative songs ever written. She does it with Anne Hathaway, and I can't think of who the third person is that she does it with. And they just get it. They get it across. That's been the video that's been playing all summer. Of
The other video is the one where she does it with why can't I think of it?
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I think it's very
That's cute.
charming.
That video was cute. I saw
And
that
Cole
the other
Porter's
day.
dead, so he didn't have to find out that Barbara changed the lyrics.
Decided it up
Yeah.
this just. I was wondering though, because she was on either 60. No, it wasn't 60 Minutes. She was on CBS Sunday Morning a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, and that's how I learned about the album to begin with. And when I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, I think she has softened her stance on the whole lighting and the way the shot's set up and everything's done, because she was shot from two different settings in an interview, right side and left side, and then they were walking around outside, and I'm like, there didn't seem to be as much control as she used to have.
There really isn't, because if you watch her movies, which Daniel Ray hasn't, she's shot from both angles. There is a preferred side to shoot her from.
Well, she did talk about something to do with that. She said something about, she didn't say it specifically, but she gestured to one side or the other about something they were talking about, but it had nothing to do with lighting or a camera shot.
And there's very few times that the camera ever turns on her. So you don't ever get a scene with her where you would see her from this angle and then from the other angle. For some reason, and who knows, her first movie was directed by William Wyler, and the cinematographer on that movie kind of ruined her, and all her movies look like, when she directs a movie, they end up looking like that big, funny girl, beautiful, saturated color. The shot is exquisite. Everything could be stopped and be a painting. That's how she kind of came into the movies, and you kind of see it like that, she was really curious about cinematography and how she was going to look on screen. And she was photographed by one of the most famous cinematographers ever, and with William Wyler as her director. And it kind of carries forward in all of her movies of that, get that big lush shot, get that the Prince of Tides, those scenes where they're playing on the dock and it's sunset and it's just gorgeous. And, the shot of her saying Lowenstein, or him saying Lowenstein across the bridge, and it's the helicopter shot of Savannah with the bridge. Like, there's just really unnecessary, gorgeous photography in these movies that, like, this is a movie about two people on a road trip. Why is there a helicopter shot of the foliage? But you kind of get that. So
There's also the helicopter shot in Yentl where she's on the front of the
bum,
tugboat.
Bum, bum. And it ends just like Funny Girl. You have a tugboat with her and Don't Rain on My Parade, and then you have the tugboat ending Yentl and the helicopter that flies all the way to East Slavovia. So, you know what I mean? So it's seriously that boat
Would
seen
you look
from
up,
Mars.
is that a real city? I need to know. Flavobia? No, I'm kidding.
Are you using the traditional spelling?
Yeah, yes, I am. As it
As
is
it
spoken.
sounds.
Just like it sounds. So for some reason, this will not let me load it. Here we go. So Kelly Ripa is returning solo for Live, so we have not announced.
No, I've caught it a couple times, and it's just Live with Kelly, and she has different hosts.
Rotating hosts. I think I believe that they are still trying to work out with CNN how to get Anderson Cooper on there as a permanent host, and it may be after the elections. He may not be able to go on there because he's one of the moderators for the debates coming up. So he may have to at least get through the one debate before he goes on. But if I'm not
only
mistaken,
got, 9 weeks? How much
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
but if I'm not mistaken, that is where we're headed with that. And then Are You Sure It's Not You? Taylor Swift and Tom Hiddleston, I think is how you say his name, have broken up. So expect a new album.
A good album of breakup and heart torch songs.
And as I read this headline and no further down the story, because I don't care about either of these people, all I thought was the third comment should probably be borrowed from Bristol Palin's Facebook page. She's got to give really shitty blowjobs. Like when you get to your 21st boyfriend, isn't it you?
Bristol Palin, harder to pull out of than Iraq.
Yeah. That joke will always be
That
funny.
is funny, yes.
Always be funny. Let me think. And then I talked about that. Let's look about that. Nope, that says look it up. So then, and the little thing that I found, Entertainment Weekly, I'm a few weeks behind due to vacation and travels and stuff. I'm not completely caught up on Entertainment Weekly. So, no, I have two things. So, one of the things that they had an episode, they had a issue where it had like 50 things that make their staff happy. So each member of the Entertainment Weekly editorial staff or somewhere in the staff had to just say, like, what's your go-to, I need to cheer myself up. Some people put songs, some people put movies. And I was reading through it and, enjoying their choices and seeing if I knew them or if I agreed.
Crackers.
And, yeah.
Sondheim. I like
Caraway
wine.
seed Triscuits with the occasional cream cheese spread.
Jimmy Choo's.
Yeah.
I get it.
Kayaking in P-Town.
Yeah, see,
things like that.
Things that you
Pina
don't...
coladas.
Oh. You like making
Being
love
caught
in
in
the
the
rain?
rain, yeah. They're all on there. So they...
You notice yoga's not on the list.
No, never will be. Or spinning. So they brought up the season 3 finale of The Office when Jim finally asks Pam out. And they had a really cute picture of Pam sitting there smiling. And they were saying, like, just the smile that she gives, because it just ends with her smile. She's been talking, and her last thing is, wait, what was the question? Because she's interviewing for the fake documentary.
Yeah.
And he comes in and asks her out on a date finally. And she's like, I'm sorry, what was the question? And she goes in this beautiful smile, and they mentioned it. So I was like, all right, I'm on call. I got nothing to do. So I watched The Office, and I saw the whole thing, but there's things came up, and there's seasons that I don't quite remember. Oh, my God, I went through in the Fun Run. If you have
my
Netflix.
God, the fun with the
Yes,
the nipple chafing.
And the opening 35 seconds of the Fun Run episode is probably one of the greatest joys of my life, as someone talks about how good their life is while he runs someone over.
Yeah.
And just how everything's going their way as a body flies up the windshield.
Runs Meredith over. Breaks her hip.
We talking about this?
Pelvis. Yeah. And you just get all the
So
sweetness.
good.
It's so good. So I've just been watching, I've been avoiding the news and just watching different episodes, not in order or anything. So then I look to see which episodes won Emmys for writing or directing. Watch those. Well, the Fun Run is the one that I can't have anything near my mouth because I seriously lose my shit like 15 times. The Sexual Harassment Seminar, Conflict Revolution, the Booze Cruise. There's just
The
so
Dundies
many.
were always a good one for me.
The Dundies is hysterical.
I love to find and watch like montages of Jim pranks Dwight.
Yes.
Like all of those are amazing.
And Conflict Resolution is the sweet way that he realizes that Pam has slipped away, that she's going to marry Roy. And they list off all the pranks he's done on Dwight. And he's like, well, when you say them all in a row, they're not very funny. But they are hysterical.
all
You're
hilarious.
laughing at it. They describe every prank in detail.
I think my favorite is when he dresses up as Dwight and like impersonates Dwight.
Oh, the one that they talk about where he every day puts another nickel in the earpiece of his phone so that he gets used to the weight of 40 nickels in
And then
his
he's gonna
phone.
take it out.
And then he takes it out and he punches himself in the face. So
Yes.
goddamn funny. Okay, so then The Office, if you haven't seen it, so sweet. Watch it in order.
I just found this picture.
Oh, yeah, that's the chafing nipples.
It's not okay.
Oh my God, they're raising awareness of a disease that's pretty much been eradicated in the
Rabies,
U.S.
wasn't it?
Rabies,
Wasn't it
yeah.
rabies?
It was
Yeah.
rabies.
Oh.
And she got the rabies because Dwight
Of the bat.
the bag with the bat held over her head and it bit her. But then they had the casual dress day where she's wearing like one of those little short dresses that it's what do they call, like a halter dress?
Halter top?
So it's
Yeah,
here.
just kind of.
It's kind
of falling
they
down.
tell her that her dress is too short. So she's like, oh, you fucking prudes. And she pulls it down, and they're like, we can see her breasts. So she's like, oh, my God, I can't win. So then she pulls it up, covers her
It's
breasts,
basically a lengthy tube top.
and she walks over and bends over to get something off a counter. And they just show her crotch pixeled out. While everyone in the office is like, ah! It's so fucking wrong.
Oh, sprinkles in the freezer.
That's the
Oh.
Fun Run.
Is that the same episode?
That's the same episode
Shut
because
up.
she can't do the Fun Run because Sprinkle's the cat, and who's gonna hug him? And you have to put the ointment just at the base of his tail and massage the ointment into the base of his tail, and you got to give him the the insulin
Yeah.
and all this
Yeah.
stuff, but you can't shake it. You got to rub it gently in your hands. Anyways, so
Wait a minute. I think we're talking. Hey, hang on a minute. Are we talking about? They're just making me laugh just seeing them. Hang on a minute.
Oh, and all the memes and the screenshots are so good.
Are we talking about this? Where the hell did it go? Oh, this. Hang on. That?
yes, that's the thing. And she pulls it down and they pixelate her tit as Oscar yells out, "Meredith, I can see your boob, prude." That's casual dress day.
Oh.
There are so many episodes of that, and it's so sweet. And the best thing about the show, and it's what the Big Bang Theory always suffers from, is like it just doesn't have that inherent sweetness. Everybody grows, everybody changes, every character gets a little bit less horrible, or they get like horrible in a different way, but it really is just so charming, and you're just so in love with Jim and Pam. They're just the cutest couple that's ever been on TV, and you just kind of find them. So
And not in a way that you hate them, like in a way that you want to be them.
yeah, because
Like, because you see the sweet couples and you're like, you fuckers are not okay.
and Jim could easily be a bully. Like he could easily be a bully, but John Krasinski just plays it so well. So.
Yeah.
And there was a whole season that I had forgot about just due to personal life trauma that I just didn't pay that close attention to. So I didn't remember like why stuff happened. And then I've just been watching episodes. And then you just go through and like everything else, there's a wiki page. So if you have any questions and you're like, well, how did we find out about Angela? You just go to the wiki page and it tells you. So any TV show that you watch now, find the wiki page.
I'm pretty sure Pam caught them in the warehouse. Anyway.
Oh, she knew all along. She found out all along, and she kept the secret because the episode where everybody finds out and she says, "I've always known," and Jim's like, "No, you didn't," and he's like, and he plays along like, "Oh, yes, you did," and she really did. She never even told him that she knew. So it was kind of cute. It's I've been watching too much. So a second season.
Meanwhile, this is fascinating radio because in the chat room they're just cursing in Swahili.
I know they're teaching each other how to swear in Swahili.
They've had it with our shit. They're just
Well, they oftentimes just do their own thing in the old chat room.
So the second season
Oh,
of
Marty's here. Hi, Marty.
Yeah,
she's been there all along. Stranger Things is coming. They have decided against, and I guess they knew this all along, but there had been talk of would they do it as an anthology series, like American Horror Story, and use all the same actors, just in a different story. But it's going to continue. The second season is going to continue on. Who's back? Who's not? I think there's still some like contract negotiations, but everyone's excited. They feel they have more things from the '80s to rip off. And they have publicly come out in apology for sticking too close to the bad female characters of 80s movies, like without like improving what was wrong with most of those 80s movies.
Okay.
And the fact that the backlash over what they did to the one girl, like how that character just kind of disappeared one day and no one cared. Like they are kind of responding to that. So it's
All right.
it's kind of fun to
Isn't
watch.
it amazing the muscle that like the Twitterverse has?
Yeah.
On,
And it's
especially on entertainment, but just
muscle.
And because it's so
Good night,
it's so
Harrison.
glaringly obvious. Oh, Harrison, have you watched Stranger Things? I don't even know. It's so glaringly obvious that one character something happens to, and like the whole show forgets about it. It's kind of like the oldest son on Happy Days that disappeared after the pilot.
Oh, right.
And no one talks about the fact, like, you have another kid, right?
Rest of the series, never saw him again.
It was never addressed. They never addressed it again. That
Yeah.
there's one less child in Happy Days.
I think Richie and Joni have an older brother who's off in the service.
he probably off camera just looked at somebody and said, "You can suck my dick."
Yeah.
And also, "Eee!"
So, I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Oh, of course not. Why would you?
I'm going to get my water. That was entertainment.
Wow.
You know it's 9:00 and we didn't do a drinking word, did we?
Well, it was suck my dick.
All right.
You know you can't.
Oh, I didn't even think because I didn't bother with the
We didn't
crossover.
segue anywhere.
I didn't bother with the
We didn't do
cross.
any of
We've
this
just been running amok since we started. Doesn't matter. Oh,
I don't care.
No, who gives a shit?
don't
Shizzle,
care.
manizzle,
I'm
fazizzle.
Judy Garland. I don't care.
Oh, speaking of that,
Yeah, tell me.
Well, I spent yesterday. Was it yesterday? Was it Sunday? Yesterday was 9/11 stuff, but on whatever Discovery or whatever show I was on, they were doing. And I don't think they're new. They were new to me. Some documentaries on World War II and Hitler and the whole thing. It was interesting. And you say Judy Garland. He was Judy Garland through the entire war because of his doctor, that he was a not a hypochondriac, but he had ailments and issues. Hitler was sick for his whole life, but he got in with this crack doctor
Oh my God.
who just would create medications and inject him with shit just randomly with all kinds of stuff. Well, they found all of the doctor kept journals daily, what he injected him with, what the concoction was, how much, all this kind of stuff. So they had doctors, modern day doctors, go through all of these journals, and they're like, how was he even functioning at all? Like, based on some of the stuff. And they guess they determined that one of the meetings that Hitler had with Mussolini, there was a 2-hour rant that Hitler went on obviously in the early 40s, where he just yelled at Mussolini for 2 hours. And they said, well, duh, because the concoction that he had given him was crystal meth. Like, he was they had him so hopped up. I was just telling her, I just had learned this. Just Judy Garland, Hitler, the whole way through all of it. Like, he'd have a little ailment, and Hitler didn't believe that medicine was oral. Like, it had to be injected. That was medicine. So taking something didn't he didn't believe that was
like a drink
that
of
was
some
quite,
sort.
right? No. If you weren't injecting it, and the doctors in this series were like, he was a pincushion. Like, there's nowhere on his body that had to be usable anymore because he was taking so many injections. Because again, it was downers at night, it was uppers in the morning, and then throughout the day, multiple times a day, he would just be shut up with stuff. I was like, it was just very interesting to me to see that, and then the fact that the doctor, the doctor was just a quack, and he was dealing with rich people in Berlin, and then they just took him in and like, well, okay, sure, we'll sign you up, and they took him on the road with him. It was just very interesting to me. And then at the very end, right before, I forget how many days before Hitler killed himself, he released the doctor. Like, he's like, go do something else. Your time here is done. You've served me well. And he gets on the last goddamn plane out of the city they were in before it gets all overtaken and shot to shit, and then Hitler dies. He gets out. Our military had him for a while, and then they interrogated him, but he didn't do anything. Like,
right.
All he did was
He was
a
a doctor.
That's all he did. So they let him go. And then I don't know, he died. I don't know how long ago he died, but anyway, the journals were very interesting. But that was part of my education. On Sunday, I watched a couple things, and the other one was the I can't think of her name. Off the top, they were not married. Well, they got married at the very end, right before they killed themselves. The woman who was with him the whole time through the entire World
Eva
War.
Braun.
Eva Braun. They showed all of her home movies because she kept a film camera the entire time and shot all kinds of, like, their getaways and their vacations, and everybody that was around him. Like, all this film was hidden, and she knew to hide it, and she left word as to where it was going to be. So when they got taken out, all the film footage was preserved and saved so that somebody could find it later and be like,
Yeah, they killed themselves together in the bunker.
yeah, in the bunker below.
Crazy.
And it was just fascinating to find.
And for
it.
your fact checkers that are watching The Sound of Music and worried about, I don't want to go there. But
I
anyways,
have wanted to fact check The Sound of Music.
if they went
the
over
hills were not actually alive.
No.
Nope.
if they went over those mountains that they're talking about, they would have landed right in like Hitler's vacation home.
Oh, okay.
They're not escaping to Switzerland. They're like heading right to the Führer. So it's kind of funny. Like, I have a friend that, like,
Oh, maps.
remember I told you guys about the friend that was all pissed off because there was a black woman playing the Mother Superior in The Sound of Music, and he was all like, it's just historically incorrect to have a black person in The Sound of Music. I'm like, this is where you're gonna start picking apart The Sound of Music.
So now, are you
This
talking
is the
about the
line?
story, or are you talking about the movie production? If they would have gone over the hill where they filmed that,
Yeah, in anywhere you do it. If they had really escaped over the mountains from Austria,
okay,
From
To
where
where
the
they
Von
were
Trapps
going.
were to...
okay,
and
all
that
right.
was really their route out instead of what really happened in real life, they would have been.
Oh, okay.
in-
I didn't realize that.
So it's just craziness. And I still can't take my friend seriously after since that conversation. December 2 years ago,
I know it wasn't me.
that his father did not fight
Oh, I write something else
in
down.
World War II to have a black woman be playing the Mother Superior. And I'm
Oh,
like,
Lord.
but he's not racist.
Did
It's
you
very
get up and
important to
walk out of
remember.
the room? Did you just get up and leave?
I've never spoken.
Yes,
to him.
There's like no
There's no
response.
response.
Amina, you are correct. They got married in the bunker, like right before they died, like literally, like right before they offed
All right,
themselves.
so Nanta's asking for something seriously nail-biting and page-turning
For what?
to
Oh.
read.
To read?
So, and I offered up The Shining and Dr. Sleep, two books It's a 30 years in between writing, and luckily the sequel takes place in real time, so it's like 30 years between where little Danny grows up. And they are two of the fastest reading books, and they will keep you riveted if you read The Shining first and then Dr. Sleep. So I really have to recommend that highly. And
well, you're an avid reader.
Turning. Well, but I'm reading at a 4th grade level right now.
We don't know how well.
Page
We don't know how
turning
well
and
they
nail
read.
biting. Well, because I'm reading the books that I'm hopeful that my child will read, and that I'm hopeful to
I
sell
saw
to
the
hundreds
younger.
of children.
Was it the younger one reading what looked
Reading
like coupons
the
or something?
newspaper. He's so funny. Yeah, the youngest is in my newspaper obsession. There are fun little side effects. The youngest is obsessed with the grocery store. Loves it, loves it, loves it. Like, makes a daily list, whether we go or not. He just makes a list and writes it all out.
Have you got him into the coupon world where he's like going to be on that mode for you? Like that's his thing. He organizes and he puts it all together.
He's not quite there yet, but we'll get there. So right now he's just list making, and he is cutting out, but he's just cutting out pictures of the items that he likes.
Okay.
So we're still
That
little.
really
We're
is
still little young.
I used to do that with the Sears catalog for Christmas.
Yeah, it's very fun, and so luckily, because there was some trauma with my newspaper subscription.
Did read some. You have to update us on that.
I'm going to right now.
Oh God, that'll be exciting. Is this your segment?
yeah.
This will be your segment.
Sure.
Yay!
That'll
God,
be
that's a
good.
segment.
I have some stuff too.
Okay.
So on the newspaper front, when last we talked, I had very excitedly subscribed to the newspaper, received the newspaper. Things were going well.
Yes, local newspaper.
And then the following day, after the last Tuesday that I was here, the following day, mysteriously, I got a Wednesday paper
Wow.
on my front walk.
Oh,
and I
that's
thought-
coupon day. So usually if you get Sunday, you get the coupon
But
day.
I didn't subscribe to it.
Oh,
Like
then-
I call that-
I
I call that suggestive selling.
well, and I thought, well, maybe the delivery's just a little confused and whatever, mistakes happen. I'm gonna go with the flow. So then, go from Wednesday to Sunday. I wake up at the crack of 11:30 in the morning, and I go to look for the newspaper, and lo and behold, there's no newspaper.
Oh.
Right.
Hark.
I know. I'm devastated. I can't even deal with it. And I go online, and clearly I've gotten up after any customer service is open
Right.
on a Sunday.
If they're even open on a
Right.
Sunday.
So
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Right. No, they are. They're open like 7 to 11
Oh,
on
okay.
Sunday morning.
All right.
Yeah, for people to report that, hey, I didn't get a paper, and then
Oh.
they ping a message out to the delivery person.
Right.
And so I'm documenting all of this on social media. So any of you that follow me on social media,
I did see some of it.
This is kind of a repeat. But I'm kind of posting this on social media. I found out all of the contacts that I have that happen to work at the AZ Republic, because several of them reached out to me and they were like, do you need help? And so I thought
They call it intervention. I think
Right.
is what they're calling it.
Well, no, because they
I mean,
work.
my whole prayer circle was in on this.
No, and I get it. Right, your whole prayer circle was working on it.
They mean so much.
No, and I do get it because they work for a dying industry and they've got somebody, I wouldn't call myself prominent, but I have a fair amount of, social media followers, and that word gets out.
Yeah.
And so, Sunday came and went and I was disappointed, but I thought, well, maybe there was a mistake, or maybe, God forbid, one of the neighbors stole it. I mean, I did leave it out there until fucking noon.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody just came by and took
There's
it.
always that person that thinks at 10 a.m. free newspapers.
Not free newspaper.
She didn't
True
want
that.
it.
Right, and there's there's the house to the west of me.
We're gonna get you security
I don't trust
cameras.
those motherfuckers.
Security cameras.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I just sent a very polite email off to AZ Republic, because they have, on the website, I logged into my account and saw there was an issue there. It had me listed as a digital-only subscriber, and so I sent an email and I said, hey, here's what's happened and here's what I want, and hopefully you can help me. And this is Sunday afternoon, and I think, well, they'll get it Monday. They'll get back to me Monday. Monday comes and goes. Tuesday comes and goes. Wednesday, I get another Wednesday paper. I've still not heard from anyone at customer service, but I got another paper. Odd. So I ended up talking to one of my contacts that works there that evening, and he was very helpful. He's like, listen, if
The
you
guy in
have,
charge of ink.
perhaps, yeah.
Vice president of Inc.
Got it.
Yeah, and by that time I had spoken to a lovely woman at customer service who really didn't seem to get what I was after, but she thought she solved the problem.
Was just surprised that you actually had a subscription to the paper at all.
Yes, a little bit. Well, and it's all still just a little bit weird, because their records show that they charged me more than my credit card says that they charged me. I know. They're like, oh, well, we've charged you $20, and I'm like, well, no, you charged me $12. oh, and you didn't get last Sunday's paper. We're just gonna go ahead and credit your account. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm making money now. This is why newspapers are going out of business.
They can't count.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, and I don't know if there was some intervention from a kind friend, or if the very nice woman at customer service actually figured my stuff out. But so far this Sunday, there was a paper.
Oh my God.
And so
now tomorrow, we'll see what happens.
Who
It's
knows?
Wednesday
Could be a
for us
bonus.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So the photo that you saw, the kids were very excited to bring me the newspaper. I was still in bed, and so they brought the newspaper into the bedroom, and I was like, well, all right, whatever. And the oldest had an annoying friend over as a play date, so I was in no kind of hurry to enter the rest of the house. So I was like, oh, good, the paper's here. Can you bring me some coffee, too?
Be a lamb. Bring mommy some coffee.
And so then, knowing his affection for all things grocery ad, I went and pilfered through, and I found them for him. So as I read the front page, he read the ads.
What a beautiful home life you've described.
Isn't
I
that
know,
nice?
everyone's happy.
That's why you do
I
it.
wasn't sure what he
That's
was
why you
looking
do
at
it.
in that one picture. If he was looking at grocery ads or the comics.
It was grocery ads. Grocery
You
ads.
haven't-
But hopefully the comics will go through, like, you have to kind of instill that idea.
Right.
And they're young and impressionable still. You can instill that idea. If they see me reading a newspaper, then occasionally there might be something that I could say, hey, I want you to read this.
Yeah, and you get the bug going.
And it goes.
Mine was, I think we talked about it last week. Mine was,
Here's the picture you were talking about right there.
There he is.
Look at that.
Oh, now
Shopping the sales.
on the bigger screen I see it.
Okay.
Mine was,
Grapes were on sale
Reader's
this week.
Digest. We talked about it last week, but there was always, every issue of Reader's Digest had a drama in real life, and it was always
yeah.
some, like,
Sure.
high stakes rescue or something, and I would just wait every month for that, and I just love the drama in real life. I would look through the list of things like,
2 stories to tell you about now.
yeah.
Oh, after the show, I have 2 things to talk to you about.
Oh,
after
okay.
the
That's very nice.
show. Reader's Digest.
So now, in your entertainment section, you didn't reference the podcast that you're listening to. Are there updates or just
The
you're
1600
still-
one?
I'm still on keeping it 1600. Amina made it, and somebody's got to send that back to me because I got lost in this week of work and lost the link to a crime one. But yeah, keeping it 1600 is just fun. It's just funny, very entertaining,
Is it?
and yes,
I've listened to that one a couple of times. I listened to 538, and I've got a new one. I've been on a bit of a history kick myself, much like Clayton McKee. I've got a new one called.
Everything before now is history.
That's a true story.
Found out.
But no, like old history. This one's called Presidential.
Oh.
So a writer at the Washington Post decided at the beginning of the year, she said, well, here's a weird coincidence. There's this many presidents and there's this many weeks till the election. So she's been going a week at a time,
That's cool.
That's cool.
doing an hour on each president. It's very, very cool. I'm up to Polk,
Okay.
which is like
Yeah.
11 or something like that. And she does a
William Henry? No, what's his name? No, it's William Tyler.
it was John
John
Tyler.
Tyler.
William Henry Harrison was only president for a month, and
Yeah.
then he got sick and
'Cause
died.
He
As it
didn't,
turns,
he didn't wear an overcoat.
that's a myth, as it turns out.
Oh, dun dun dun.
And with the forensic doctors, it turns out that they went through the medical records of the time, the doctors that were treating William Henry Harrison, because he couldn't have died of pneumonia just from his record-length inaugural speech. He died 3 weeks later, and they determined that he was the way that they were at that time in history dealing with human waste. They would take it to a field, and it was up the water supply from the White House. So the White House water supply, and she like teased to future episodes that other presidents had also
So he had
been
like
affected by this.
dysentery or
Yeah,
Ebola, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Oh.
So I think they said typhoid maybe.
Well,
Anyway, he contracted something through contaminated
So it-
water.
I think you're right.
I have a,
Is it called presidential?
It is called presidential.
Okay, I'm going to
I
subscribe
have
to it right
I have
now.
a question.
Yes.
Did she happen to say in this, if they were taking the waste
They
uphill?
called it night soil at the time.
Okay. When they took it up, did the phrase "shit rolls downhill"? Is that
This
where
may
this
be
may have where it come from?
Where it comes
I don't
from.
think that was a
Kinda like where
colloquialism
how the
at the
states
time.
got their shapes. It's how the saying got. The shit was uphill. I don't know. It just seemed like. It
No,
works.
and it's very cute, and it's more than she's taking a different angle than just rattling off dates and facts. She speaks to historians at the Library of Congress that actually study and read the letters of these presidents and the writings of these presidents, and she asks them, whenever she asks an expert on whatever president, she says, well, if I were to go on a blind date, with William Henry Harrison? What would it be like? And then the historian is like, well, first of all, you wouldn't want to do this, and second of all, you know, it's and some of them it's very fun. Some of the presidents are described as very charming, and some of them not so much. But she's going one at a time all the way up.
And
That's
some
cool.
of them are funny because of their first wives. Like, I think I just had the name and I lost it. I think Madison's wife Lucy made banned alcohol, and she was known as Lemonade Lucy. And they had very unsuccessful parties because they didn't serve alcohol, and the water supply was not that great, so no one could drink anything through. I think she's lemon. I gotta look up who Lemonade Lucy is. But there's some really funny first lady stories through there, and then, you know, people coming in and being like, this is a dump.
Right.
Like, what we gonna do about this house?
Yeah, there were, and I'm
And the
just
addition
I'm really
of the West
excited
Wing, and I
to.
can't remember, one of the presidents introduced the West Wing to
think
have
it was-
to have an office, and some.
Probably haven't
I
got
feel
there
like
yet.
it was a Roosevelt. No, I haven't gotten there.
Yeah.
Got there yet. I'm not even to Lincoln yet. Lincoln is still 5 or 6 presidents off from where I'm at in the succession, because I just started at the beginning with Washington, and off I go, and
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 or 3 weeks, so I should make it there before.
And I
before
love
election
all
time.
that kind of bullshit.
And it's so cute and just easy listening. Like, it's just easy to listen to. It's my new podcast obsession.
Because there's probably like 15 presidents that you really know something about, and you're like, but there's 44.
Right.
What were the other 30 doing?
Yeah,
Like, who was that guy?
sure.
You know.
Yeah, well, and almost all of the names, most people will be like, oh yeah, I heard of that guy, but why?
Yeah.
You know,
Like Millard Fillmore, half of Buffalo is named after him. Turns out he's one of our presidents.
who knew?
Yeah, but I mean, seriously.
He was part of the Whig Party.
Yes, he was, because he is pre.
My boyfriend told me.
Yeah. He is pre Lincoln.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of Buffalo, like, it's called Millard Fillmore Mercy Hospital. Like,
Okay.
the whole city's named after him. That's our one claim to fame.
There's that. Yes. But,
Oh yes, Lemonade Lucy is Rutherford B. Hayes.
Lucy
Thank
Ware
you,
Webb
Anand.
Hayes.
Thank you for googling.
gosh, look at
Unless you
that.
just had that in your head.
Good work with the Googling.
Information at your fingertips.
At your fingertips. What time is it? Oh, I got time for stuff. What do I have?
Well, whatever you got.
What do we got? Here, I've got something funny.
Okay. That'll be a first for this evening's show. Not.
Settle down. All right. So, what was the date on this? Doesn't matter. Date doesn't matter. So recently,
Timeless.
as
Yeah.
you know, like, trending hashtags are a thing and can often be hilarious. All right. So recently, the hashtag "How to Confuse a Millennial" began trending.
Oh, I like this already.
All right, and it was fueled clearly by the baby boomer generation. And the baby boomer generation is what, 1950 to 60? Is that right? Because I know my parents are baby boomers.
Well, I would have thought my mom would have been a baby boomer
55.
because it was post-war. She
Yeah,
was 47.
baby boomers are like 45 to about 62-ish.
As in year of birth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because my folks were born in 55, and they
Okay,
still
yeah, so they
kinda,
would have
you
been.
know,
They would have been.
You're the tail
like the
end. Yeah.
Right. Because, like, I'm the end of Generation X, beginning of that middle, don't know what. I'm not a millennial. Anyway, so this is clearly funded by people that lived when these things were actually true. Things like,
Baby boomers 46 to 64.
there you go. Things like, ask him to spell the word bay. Ask them to fax you something.
I can't do that.
Try to fix their video games by blowing on them. Show them how we used to Google, and it's a picture of a set of Encyclopedia Britannica.
Of course.
Ask them to work overtime. Talk to them.
I like that it's that easy.
Oh, yeah.
When asked for an iPad, give them a notebook and a pen. Explain we used to be social before media. And the list goes on and on and on. However,
There's a little backlash, wasn't there?
there was a little
I
backlash
heard
because
it.
then the millennials, of course, instantly were notified that this was trending, and they responded.
Their stupidity was trending.
Yeah.
Of all the things that they can do that their parents can't.
They responded, hashtag how to confuse a millennial. Have them wake up Sunday morning to a hashtag like this where you vilify them for no reason. How to confuse a millennial, destroy the housing market, replace grad jobs with unpaid internships, and then tell them to buy a house.
That's fair.
Tweet stuff showing you think millennials are your teenage children living in your house. We're in our 20s and 30s. Tell them mental health is important while they run between 3 part-time jobs. Rant about how everyone gets a trophy these days while sipping from your world's greatest dad coffee mug.
Oh, that's good.
Continuously blame them for problems that were created generations before them. Be racist, homophobic, transphobic, etc., yet also complain about how this generation is disrespectful.
Yeah. Well, that's fair too.
Right? Yeah, the comebacks were just better than the original jokes. Millennials 1, baby boomers 0 in this particular
I thought maybe
battle.
there was going to be they would have produced a list of how to confuse a baby boomer. Give them an iPad and tell them to go.
Yeah.
In some cases.
Try your best.
Yeah.
No trophies awarded.
Not everybody's winning.
Amina, I have now. She put the link to the podcast she was trying to sell me on. I was currently open on the podcast page, so I just subscribed to it now. I'm ready to go.
Nice.
I have subscribed to both of yours.
Very nice. Podcast City. Up in here.
The Nervous Vagus?
Yes. The vagus nerve is it makes you vomit. It goes from like here down, and it's one of the things that your vagal nerve, like if you're having like your heartbeat's beating too fast, you like bear down like you got to poop or you cough, and it slows down your heart rate. Your vagus nerve goes all the way through your body.
It doesn't sound like something I want to listen
That
to.
all doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
No, but it's
I'm gonna
a
listen.
murder. It's a murder mystery.
Oh, I thought this was an educational
You know how
thing.
you get me: serial killers, presidents, history trivia, serial killers find love.
Put them all together.
I'm
and
in.
Al's
Oh my
a
God.
happy, happy girl.
Jesus, if Dexter showed up on Vice, I'd never leave my house again. That made myself laugh. It was something that wasn't even funny.
I love it. Let's see. We talked about Indiana a little bit. Talked about the Twitter thing. I'm running out of stuff.
You got to play that clip. Did you get that clip
Well,
ready?
I've got it here.
Now I don't know which one of his. What is our gentleman friend's name? Our new interviewer.
Randy Rainbow.
Randy Rainbow. Now, are you going to play his taking on of the Great Pause, the Trump Pause interview, or his taking on of the taco trucks?
Oh, it's the taco truck.
I love
so
taco trucks.
On what's Joy's? I think her name is Joy. Morning Joy is the name of the show.
Morning Joy on MSNBC?
MSNBC is having a conversation, and she has a man who is referencing Latinos for Trump, and he's talking about his dominant culture and the great worry of what will happen, what Latinos will do if Trump is not elected. And Randy Roberts takes over the interview.
Randy Rainbow.
Randy Rainbow.
There we go.
And we are back. I'm joined now by Marco Gutierrez, founder of Latinos for Trump. You may also know him as co-founder of many of its sister organizations, including Jewish Mothers for Adolf and Dalmatians for Cruella. Marco, thank you so much for joining me. Let's start with the obvious question. What the
And he just sits there.
Let me expand upon that. You are one of the only Hispanic advisors who has not yet left the organization. We're hearing that many of the group's 6 members have jumped ship faster than Leah Remini at a Scientology barbecue, faster than an audience for a 3rd season of the Caitlyn Jenner reality show, faster than Mariah Carey at a Made in Manhattan viewing party. So I guess my question is this, bitch, are you crazy?
No, I don't think so. I think my friends, we stand with Donald Trump. There's a lot of Hispanics that are in the closet.
Please, girl, I know, but let's not get into my sex life. Polls are showing that Hispanics are rejecting Trump in huge numbers. Can you refute that?
Yes, because the polls are done in two blocks. You have the born citizens here, and then you have me. Like I was born and raised in Mexico. My section, it's more against Donald Trump because of the relationship that they have with the unlawful immigrant. But you have the natural borns that are more in the 40-something%.
Okay. Thanks for that. And just so we're clear, those percentages came from the poll conducted in your ass?
We need to understand that this is a different time, and we're having problems here.
What problems?
My culture is a very dominant culture. And it's imposing and it's causing problems. If you don't do something about it, you're going to have taco trucks every corner.
Wait a minute. What? What the? I don't even know
Sign
what
me
just
up.
happened. I actually need to step back and just be with myself for a second. Actually, let's bring me onto the panel. Randy, what the hell is this guy talking about? I don't know. This shit is literally crazy. A taco truck on every corner. I don't know that would necessarily be a problem so much as it would be the solution to all of my problems. Oh, I know. I love tacos.
Donald Trump is a genius.
Well, thank you, Marco, for joining us with that invaluable bit of insight and for helping me decide not only who I'll be voting for this November, I'm voting for tacos, but also what I'll be having for lunch. You guys want tacos?
Donald Trump is a genius.
I seriously considered grabbing the sidewalk chalk and drawing my own little taco truck's parking spot in front of my house.
And the best part was it was the night after or 2 days after we did the taco show here,
Oh yeah,
where we
totally.
had bemoaned like the how many turns Marnie had to take to get the tacos
right.
to get here with tacos.
I think my favorite part of that video is when he said, because it's a side by side, like any interview,
Side by each.
and
my
also
fave.
when he's like, and he just looks around and he looks over at him at the other side. It almost made me think of like the Daily Show, and they were broadcasting from a street far away, and they were 10 feet away. That
He is
funny.
so funny, and he took on the
Taco trucks on every corner. God damn.
the show about oh god, the interview where the CNN interview was like, well, you know, Donald is losing in many polls. Which polls? Many of them.
All of
All
them.
of them.
And all the pauses. So he puts himself into that interview, and it's just funny. So
That's magic.
Randy Rainbow is a funny find on the YouTubes. Am I saying
it.
that right?
Yes.
The
The
YouTube.
interwebs.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a millennial, so I don't know.
No, because you weren't born between 80 and 2000, according to what I read on the lines.
That's very nice. Oh, I just missed it. Then.
Yeah. So what comes after the millennials? Like, what are they? Well, millennials will be older then. Millennials will be like 38 years old.
Millennials are
6 years old.
80s to 2000.
Good work with that.
Then you come after, is it Gen X's are next?
No, Gen X's are before
Oh,
that.
I'm the Gen X. We're Gen X's.
Oh, good.
It's way too
60s,
big.
60s,
There's a Y in there somewhere.
Early 60s to the early 80s. Then you go to the millennials, and then what's after those little motherfuckers?
Oh, yeah, because I thought
7-year-olds?
I thought I was Gen Y. I thought we were Gen Y. I thought the bridge between
Calm down.
baby boomers.
May I read?
Yeah. Oh, well,
Oh, see, and I thought Y was like 80 to 90.
Millennials, also known as the millennial generation or Generation Y, abbreviated as Gen Y, are the demographic cohort following Generation X. There are no precise dates for this generation starts and ends. Most researchers and commentators use birth years ranging from the early 80s to around 2000.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have to call my sister and tell her she's a millennial.
So
She's
now,
81.
so what do you? I want to what we call when you were born in the 90s.
Millennial. You had for the 80s.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
86,
Oh, my
2000.
bad. God, so he'd still be a millennial? I keep looking at the younger generation. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Because so in that story, what were they? They were Gen Xers or they were Gen Ys?
Gen Ys.
So we're Gen Xers. We're the
Generations ranging from the early 60s to early 80s. So yeah, we're Gen X. They're
Yeah.
Gen Y or millennial. Oh, so he would be a millennial. Got it.
Because we were the generic ones. We were the ones that nobody knew what to do with us. We were the latchkey kids. We were the products of feminism and jobs and
Broken homes.
the baby
and
boomers
MTV
rebelled and we went the other way. We were the Michael J. Foxes, the ones that went
According-
back to conservatism.
According to the
Yep.
PewResearch.org poll in April of 16, the millennials surpassed the baby boomers as the largest living group.
Because
Yep.
baby boomers started to die.
Sure.
Yeah.
When there were no more made.
Yeah. No, it's not. It was one of the things that we ran into like a couple presidential election cycles ago was that the first, was it 2000? It must have been 2009 would make them 65. That the first set of
Baby boomers, started
boomers were retiring. That they were
Yeah.
all the first set were all coming of retirement age. And what burden was that going to put on Social Security? So now we're living in that age
Yeah,
of
because it's the
every
largest, healthiest generation.
year. Yeah.
To go on
According
Social
to
Security.
the wiki page, Gen Zs, Generation Zs, they're the ones who follow millennials. There are no precise dates according to what this says for them.
Because it's happening now. They're being shot out as
Yeah,
we
and
speak.
and then you don't know what they're going to cling to or what they're going to look back to reverentially, like.
Probably iPhones.
Yeah.
There's that. They're not gonna have any idea.
Because I always like to tell, I grew up with all the girls I grew up with are baby boomers, but I'm later. So that's why I call them aunts and uncles. But I always tell them like, I'm not a baby boomer. Like wrong era.
Right.
I'm from a different era. I'm so much younger.
So
You
much.
want your MTV.
Right.
Yes, and that is
Yeah.
literally my era.
That's
'cause
kind
I
of the
was
cutoff.
I was 14. Like I was just the right age.
Do your kids understand it? I mean, probably only because they've always heard it. But do they get why the phrase is "hang up the phone"? Because a
No,
lot of
I wouldn't imagine that they do.
So what do you? How do you describe that to them?
You'd say hang up the phone.
No, right? But do they?
But do they know why?
They don't know
No.
why it's called "hang up the phone."
But then they'd be like, well, I'm texting. Why would I hang up?
Well,
Right? No, right. That's what I'm saying.
Mine are a little.
End the call. End of the call would be like the new phrase for them.
Yeah.
Because the hanging up,
But-
obviously, when it was mounted up on a wall.
But then younger people are like, why are you calling me? Like, can't we do this with text
and the
or
other thing that-
Snapchat?
well, the other
can't
thing-
I just say this in high heel slipper, birthday cake, firecracker, pile of poop?
Oh, I love emoji conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the other thing that I know confuses them, like the fact that you have keys to your car. Like the newer, younger kids, because they're just all a fob.
Yeah.
You don't insert anything in a door. You don't turn anything in cars. Some houses are that way. But,
Oh, I was just gonna
I
say,
remember when your car came with 3 different keys.
oh yeah.
for the love of God, I don't even know what that's about. I was looking at you like,
There's an ignition key, there's a door key,
Yeah.
and there's a gas key or a trunk key.
Well, actually, and in some cars there was a door key, and the glove box actually was separate.
sure,
It was a different key.
for security reasons.
Clearly.
But no, I mean, I still have my 2 keys for my General Motors gently used vehicle, and it does seem odd to some people that you have to walk out and open the door. Well, as soon as I get to the truck, I'm going to open the door because I'm going to put this key in. I'm going to turn it. It's going to magically
Yeah,
open the
even
door.
I look at that like, okay, Grandpa. I didn't know that technology. Like, there was still things on the
That's
road
still
that
a
had
thing,
that technology.
Yeah. No, that still happens.
It's called paid for.
Or what was my car's paid for too?
Right,
What
no,
was,
right.
What was?
Why is it paid for 20 years?
I can't remember if I really don't remember if it's from real life or if it's from a TV show, but I feel like it's real life. That I got in a car that had crank down windows.
My truck
And-
has those.
I know, but I don't roll down my windows in Arizona.
Oh.
Smart.
But I remember, but it wasn't me that said it. Like somebody said, "Roll down your window," and I just remember somebody being like,
How?
Yeah.
I don't know what any of this means.
That'd be my kids because I've got automatic doors. Like I pull up to the curb at school and I hit a button and it goes, just
Right.
opens right up.
Yeah.
And they get really confused when I turn that feature off. They're like, what the?
How do you get outta
I have
here?"
to do it this way. And they just get all groany about it.
"Oh, my poor neighbors." The way that I hold my keys on top of the fob, because my house key is on there and the key for my bike, and somehow the way that I grab that key chain every single time as I'm going in the door, I set off my car alarm for 3 beeps, and it's almost every morning.
Well, that's
So
their,
I hope
that's
they
their
have day
alarm
jobs
clock.
because-
Sure.
Because it's like
Beep, beep,
anywhere
beep.
between 7:30 and 8 o'clock every morning, they hear those 3 beeps of me just fucking that up, and I'm like, God, how do I do it? Like,
Well, I don't think it's even 3 beeps. Isn't it 3 horn blasts from your car?
Was it
Perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. It's not beep, beep, beep. It's not that. I'm pretty sure. We don't set an alarm anymore. The guy that lives next door to us wakes us up every fucking
He gets
day.
home about 7:30 and turns off his fucking car alarm.
I know,
so-
and especially weeks like this when I'm like, been constantly getting home. It's been a long week of work.
Oh, do we have are we doing bullshit or are we going to thoughtful? What do you want to do?
Oh, let's go to thoughtful. And this is your time to write something very quickly about a thoughtful vulgarity question.
Oh, those people.
Everybody in the chat room. But play the teaser. We'll think of something.
Play the. Oh, how exciting for us.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck. We'll go pumpkin spice on this one.
Is that a way of saying taking it easy?
No, just like as we come to the end of yet another summer and the nights broke right on schedule. Night of September 1st, it was 20 degrees cooler. Like,
Yep.
is it
Right
the magic?
on time.
What do you look forward to besides oh, look at Joe actually had it.
What?
Wow.
Oh,
Like what do you look forward to? Like what about this besides the end of the heat?
About fall?
Yeah.
Turkey.
Ooh.
I'm ahead to Thanksgiving already. I'm planning my Thanksgiving.
Wow, really?
I'm planning my Thanksgiving plans.
It is my favorite meal of the year.
Turkey. In fact, I had Sharon roasted chicken with stuffing just the other day because I couldn't wait for turkey and whole chickens were on sale. I was like, babe, roast a chicken like it's a turkey. And I had stuffing for dinner the day afterwards. Just stuffing.
I see.
And roasting a chicken is easy and delicious because they're so much smaller. And if you have a roasting pan, bam, you get yourself, and you just shove that fucking
Shove some
stuffing
stuffing
in
in there and stuff him in the oven and baste him once in a while. Yep. It's turkey time, kids. Don't you remember 10 Days of Turkey last year? Like, this is a thing.
Yeah, it is for me too.
I know. We go
This
through all
is
this.
a thing.
And then every year we do our little mini Thanksgiving in here.
And I was looking at my calendar. I'm pretty sure I have to do the big Fakesgiving party at my house like 2 weeks ahead. So it's going to be...
Oh, wow.
It might be 20 Days of Turkey.
It's going to be the entire month.
It's like an advent calendar at this point.
It's Turkey-tober.
Turkey-tober.
Yes.
If that's a thing,
Oh.
I'll celebrate.
Search.
No, here's how much of a thing it is. It's still in here. Yes. So
What?
I was at the school today, and my
fuck are
my
you
friend who works
doing?
there, she texted me. She says, "Hey, are you gonna come to school today?" I said, "Yeah, I'm coming by. There's a meeting." Whatever. She says, "Good. I have something for you." So I went and I found her, and she's like swamped busy, and she runs to her desk real quick and like flings this at my face. It's a big banner that says Friendsgiving.
Oh, that's cute.
That's
I know.
touching.
Where is that from?
I have. I'm gonna go with a discount store of
Well,
some
it's got a
sort because of
barcode on the back.
$3 here.
You could probably scan it and find it online.
Okay.
I can ask. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like one.
All right.
Oh,
I have
that's
a- I have
Because you do a Thanksgiving too. Yeah.
But my friend does, and so I would like to send that out to them
To
as like
gift
a
it to
little
them.
house gift for their annual festival.
That's very nice.
Festivus.
Yeah, started in my honor.
I'll find out.
Not in my honor, but started because of me. I did it out here for a long time.
Sure.
And now I,
I
just can't
think
get
a
my-
lot of us did. You know.
Yeah.
Sharon and I started it in Pennsylvania, partly because I wasn't close to my family, and partly because we love turkey so much.
Yeah.
So we would cook our turkey about a week ahead of actual Thanksgiving and do it with our friends while we lived back there.
And I would usually do it the Monday or Tuesday before because I was always off.
Yeah.
Actually, the last one we had at my house was with Di's mom with hash browns and hashtags and trying to figure out what the hell hashtags were.
Oh, God, I
where
remember
we
that.
were fully baby boomering what it meant to hashtag something.
Yeah.
Just a whole conversation.
I remember the show episodes after that used to drive me crazy because that was before I was a regular.
Barney, that's still a heat-related thing.
Yeah.
But I would understand that. Aaron not bitching in general, I think, would be good regardless of the season. I think that should be the goal. Just get her over a lot of humps. For me, it's two things. Because of the heat, but I'm looking forward to just projects that are put off. Because I do work on my shop. I go outside. I do projects outside because it's just, again, it is too damn hot to be out there. And I'm looking forward to a new set of long sleeve V-necks for the winter.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, I get a new set every year.
Trying to fit into pants again. That's going to be a thing.
Huh?
Finding out if last year's jeans fit. Doubtful.
Oh no, no, we're not going to talk about that anymore.
The struggle is real.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Just to get them on.
Yeah.
The struggle.
Oh my God.
Ah.
Mine is just to have this election
Over.
be over.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I like elections and I like the campaigning and I like everything, I reached my peak last week of like, this has gone on too long. Like, we need some kind of like
'cause there's
complete and total overhaul of this process so it's not a year and a half long.
there's no comedy left in it. Like it's just a hateful year.
Yeah.
Is the problem,
It really
and
is.
that's what's souring so many people is that it's so much hate.
Yeah. And we lived through 8 years of Bush. We can live through anything. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
sure.
At this point, it just doesn't fucking matter. Just get him off my TV. I can't.
But I do agree. I'd love it if they just shortened this up and it was like a maximum 6 months done.
Yeah, the British season is like maybe 6 or 8 weeks that they just bam, it's done.
I like that much better.
Yeah, it just really does. It's just gotten obnoxious. But really, and then just to get to the point where everybody can just be nice to each other again, and everyone's not like
Makes a lot of cookies.
yeah, or as Soledad O'Brien says, like we're kind of normalizing hate speech now. Like now we're just taking the pro-white movement and making it just something that's common, and you should scream at. You should stand in Arizona and scream at people, like, just to have all this be done. It's time to put it to bed. Like last week, we just reached a level of ugliness that I just can't take anymore. Like I swear my blood pressure raised like 30 points during the course of that speech. That I was like, this is not what anyone should be doing.
To how any of this works.
Yeah, it's not how any of this works.
Hashtag this is not okay.
And then I think an adventure to Sedona should be coming up in our future.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
Like, it cools off here, go somewhere even cooler.
Interesting.
Sure.
I'm in.
On board. I think we can call that a wrap, don't you?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, look at us making magic on a Tuesday. Marnie, Amina, Anant, Joe D, Missy Al, of course that's you, Drew, everybody who's been in the chat room, thanks so much for being part of it on this Tuesday night, show 274. It's the 6th of September where we are. It may be the 7th where you are. Whenever you listen, thanks for doing so. Booey, I don't know. That's about all I got for anything exciting. Marnie will probably be back with us next week. We hope so. Round out this table of I almost said round table of idiots, but it's an oval table.
It was very late. It was very laid back tonight. Like, even writing over here, I was
mellow.
like, it's very NPR.
Well, we'll wrap up tonight's show and leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.